Alright, let's see if that did it. There we go. Let me know if you can see and or hear me. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, alright. Well, hello everybody. And welcome back to Paleontologizing. We're gonna have a really fun stream today, so I hope you're ready for it. Welcome once again to the desert of eastern Utah, out here kind of near the town of Moab, if you know where that is. And we're out digging dinosaurs right now and streaming it. Welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils to learn about the history of life on Earth. I study dinosaur fossils in particular, and that's exactly what we're digging up here with the Utah Geological Survey. Dr. Jim Kirkland, the state paleontologist of Utah, has joined our crew. He's, one of our fearless leaders here, him and Don DeBlue. Jim just showed up last night, and he's going to be here, I think, for pretty much the remainder of our time out here. So, if you ever wanted to ask the co-discoverer and namer of Utah Raptor about that animal, or about Gastonia, or various other Utah ankylosaurs, or really anything at all about Utah dinosaurs or Utah geology, I don't know. I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone else on Earth who knows more than Jim does, so you're in for a treat today. Anyway, awesome stuff. It's very hot out here in the sun, so without further ado, I'm going to go jump under the shade tarp again, and we'll show you what we've been digging up. We're working in the, like I've been saying constantly for the past week, working in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation. So the lower yellow cat member of the Cedar Mountain Formation. Rock's about 140 million years old, but I feel kind of silly talking about this because Jim, he's the real expert here, so we'll have him talk about it. But for anybody wondering, this is our streaming setup right there. There's the dish, the router, the solar battery, and the solar panels. It's the only reason this is possible out here. The only reason I could afford this was because of the very generous support of you, the viewers, so thank you very, very much for that. I'm deeply grateful. I know I say that a lot, but it's always worth saying again. Anyway. Ever found Ankylosaurus or an Allosaurus, as Classico Jono? I've found some Ankylosaur pieces. I also worked on a brand new species of Ankylosaur in the Judith River Formation of Montana. But I've never really worked much in the Morrison Formation, so never found any Allosaurus. You know who has is Jim, and he can tell you all about that. But anyway, let's get back into the quarry over here.
So hard to photograph this.
Yeah. So, this is where I was working yesterday and where I'm continuing to work today. I already pulled out a little jacket right there with that little limb bone. And, work goes on. Icon Ninja says, Utah Raptor is my favorite dinosaur. I'm so excited for this. Well, Icon, you were in luck. Holy cow. Jim actually brought some Utah Raptor props here.
Toys.
Maybe we'll take a look at those in a bit, but we've got some Utah Raptor claws in there, including one from. Can we talk about what?
We're going to.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I didn't know whether we're keeping that under wraps or anything. That it might be new. Yeah.
What's amazing is that we haven't looked for more of it over the last few years. It's been known for 5 years now.
New species of Utah Raptor potentially, maybe new genus.
Utah Raptorine.
Yeah. A whole new group of big dromaeosaurs from the early Cretaceous. But here, let's walk through and see some of the bones that we have here in the quarry so far before we get to any Utah Raptor
amazing
stuff.
Things over there by Ethan.
Yeah, holy cow.
Amazing stuff.
I don't know if we got this angle yesterday. We've got a beautiful rib head right there. Rib plunging down. Do we still think this might be a tib?
I don't know if that's a root.
I think that's the end of this tibia. I think it's just broken.
That one right there?
I think it may be another
Unless it's another element plunging, yeah.
Huh.
Because it's actually still quite broad, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we should expect to find the proximal end of this guy probably deeper underneath. But that looks like another limb element, potentially.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's or pelvic or
Okay, cool.
ischium or...
And then Don was saying he thought this looked like a crushed femur or something.
That's possible. It's
Yeah.
pretty odd. You can see how dorsiventally, or I guess anterior posteriorly thick it is.
Mm-hmm.
There, so it's not an ilium or something like that.
Right. And then we've got this mystery thing right here, which could be...
Probably a rib, but it's pretty odd.
It looks kind of ribby, but I really want to think it's a skull bone.
It could be.
With a big fenestra right there.
Skull
Yeah.
and degrades as you see more of it.
Becomes a rib eventually.
Yeah. But, anyway, most of these are probably elements from an iguanodontian dinosaur. Kind of similar to, like, Iguana Colossus, which is also from the lower yellow cat.
Yeah,
right?
Probably a little bit younger than this, but still lower yellow cat.
Yeah.
The yellow cat may have 3 or 4 different forms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's because it represents a lot more time than the upper yellow cat, most likely.
Right. So just less deposition going on.
Yeah,
Kind of slower going,
Stacked soil rising, Z-soil rising. Probably represents the way they're developed, like 250,000 years or so each.
Right.
Just for the soil, and before when those sediments came down, was before the soil developed. So.
Sure. So this could be like 1 million years or more older than Iguana Colossus.
Yeah, it's certainly very good.
Enough time for, some significant evolution to take place.
Dating is our most important thing. We've got to get more dates.
Yeah, which we'll be talking about later, actually, how to get a really good, important date. We might actually need some fundraising help with that. I'm just going to kind of tease that right here, right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Good dates are expensive.
Yeah.
Garbage is cheap.
When we're talking about dating, we're talking about actually figuring out exactly how old these are, putting a proper date on them, if anybody was confused about that.
Jim's married. He's not coming on any dates with Rock.
My wife's not a big fan of me dating. Sometimes I can do it.
Sorry, ladies. And gentlemen, and everybody else.
I'm already doing aging.
But you're saying you think it's maybe more likely than not that this will be like a new iguanodontian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, is it new species Iguana Colossus? Is it related? Because the thing that was being used by Andrew McDonald, who was doing a lot of our early iguanodont work out here, named Iguana Colossus and Bo Draco.
And that was from Don's place, Iguana Colossus?
No, it's from Andrew's site.
Andrew's site, okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, Iguana Colossus was Don's,
Okay, Don's Ridge.
South, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Don's Ridge North.
Don's Ridge North. Okay.
Yeah, and that was found in rubble, the surface, that he saw those cervicals exposed between all the rocks on the surface. Impressive. And that just went in. But, the surface was covered with chunks of rock from the overlying cliff.
Right.
Just these little windows you can see through to the ground. And Don spotted bone in that rubble coming through.
Nice.
I was impressed. Don's got a good eye.
That's actually one of our follow alerts on here. There's a little picture of Iguana Colossus, I think from Wikipedia, that shows up.
And that's, from the original paper.
Yeah.
Which is good. You gotta share this stuff.
Yeah.
None of it's worth anything unless we tell people.
Exactly, unless we publish it and then get the word out. Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's what we're trying to do here, so thank you for watching, everybody.
This is informal.
Yeah. super cash here.
Jim said this on a live stream, so it's definitely a fact.
Well, shoot, speaking of which, we need to make a correction. You caught an error that I made the other day. Yeah.
Okay. And Danny was talking about, the great sauropod expert, Jack McIntosh, who's got 2 Cedar Mountain dinosaurs named after him. Betasaurus McIntoshi and Brontomerus McIntoshi. And they're probably related. So one's an Aptian animal, one's an Albion animal.
One could be a descendant of the other?
Yeah. They're both in the Ruby Ranch. So two sauropods in Ruby Ranch named after them.
Yeah.
And they're both valid.
Yeah.
no doubt. But he deserves it. He's the expert.
And so he's a physicist by trade, right?
Well, he was a dinosaur fanatic as we were all when we were young.
Yeah.
And at Yale, he wanted to go into grad school to do a thesis on sauropods. Of course, he had all the marsh collections, which hadn't been studied in 100 years.
Yeah.
And Jack had already probably studied them enough on his own to be the expert on the marsh collection.
Yeah.
But the geology department there, this is before John Ostrom was there.
Okay.
Temporary. He was a grad student down at Columbia at the time, so he had nothing to do with this.
Okay.
But the geology department at Yale thought dinosaurs were extinct dead ends and not worthy of study. And they would not allow him to do his thesis work on sauropods. So Jack got all ticked off, and Jack's a fairly brilliant guy.
Yeah.
So he went in and did a PhD on particle physics instead.
Yeah.
And he's was a well-respected physicist in particle physics.
Sure.
Published major groundbreaking papers over his time.
Yeah.
But kept working on the Yale collections on the side. He taught at Wesleyan, which is in the region, so he could still work on those collections at Yale in the Humidity Museum.
Yeah.
But you said his call to fame was that he synonymized Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus.
Which apparently Riggs did in like 1903 or something.
Turn of the century.
Yeah, I remember remembering this now.
Near Grand Junction, near Fruita, Colorado, actually. And so that wasn't his claim to fame.
Yeah.
He figured out what the real skull should be on Apatosaurus.
Yeah.
And if they were synonymized, he was in agreement with synonymizing.
Yeah.
The two. So it's like, Apatosaurus louisii from Dinosaur National Monument. This is the skull of it.
Yeah.
And because it didn't look like a Camarasaur skull, which is what Marsh put on it, they said, well, I can't go to Apatosaurus.
Sure.
That doesn't look anything like what Marsh said was an Apatosaurus skull. So it just got left to the side. It's a fabulous skull.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, look, it's on the end of a freaking neck. I mean, shifted over a little bit, but it's part of an articulated front end of a Apatosaurus.
Yeah.
And at that point, we realized that Diplodocid skulls were vastly different than Camarasaur skulls. And that was the thing that Jack McIntosh and Berman figured out. And you can say, this is what I think. Really rigorously
demonstrated
that
it,
in a manuscript, so we could say, okay, come check our work, see what you think. And you can go check the work. Like, yeah, you're right.
Cool. Well, speaking of checking work, thank you, Jim, for correcting me on that. And anytime I obviously don't know anything, I hardly know anything. So anytime that there is a correction like that, I welcome it. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a great story. I mean,
it's really cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
And now Brontosaurus is back. Which I thought, as soon as I studied an Apatosaur up at the quarry at Arches, it's still most of it's in the ground because they won't let us dig it. National Park. But there's probably an Apatosaurus ajax there. And looking, it's articulated, it's going like straight down.
Sure.
The rocks are really steeply dipping right there. Vertebra central like that. Huge. You can see him from 100 meters away. I can't believe no one had found it before us. Because the guy found it, one of the volunteers, was football field length ahead of me. He goes, damn, man, I think I got something. And I looked forward, and you see these vertebrae laying on the ground 100 meters further. I was like, I think you did. But trying to identify this animal from the proximal tail vertebra, you say, wow, Apatosaurus louisii is real easy. Excelsius looks nothing like it. Nothing. I mean, they're easily differentiated. Just call
you think it's a different genus, Brontosaurus
and
excelsius?
You look at other animals, and there's lots of characters different. And, we still have 3 species of Apatosaurus.
Are they stratigraphically separated?
They overlap.
They overlap?
They're somewhat, yeah, Brontosaurus seems to start lower. And Apatosaurus seems to go right to the end. But they seem to overlap, which, makes some sense. This thing, but it's not just a population.
It's not anagenesis happening. There's some splitting.
Species of either at the same time. So there's multiple Apatosaurine.
Interesting.
Diplodocids. Of course you get Diplodocus.
There's
a ream of Diplodocids in the Morrison.
Somebody in chat was saying, Thought General, thank you for your comment earlier. They say, this is incredible, showing this to my parents, who went on digs with James Kirkland in the 90s as their anniversary gift to one another. Well, welcome, Thought General, and it's great to have you here.
It is amazing the people I run into.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the big rocket launch competitions was in Green River, Utah, and we stumbled upon them out prospecting, and went up, and people that were in these rocket teams from various universities had dug with me 20, 30 years earlier, you know, like,
nice,
amazing.
small world.
And I had a guy on a beach in Indiana, Indiana State Sand Dunes or something.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yell out at me, you know, Dr. Kirkland. You know, I'd worked with you, 20 years ago. You know, you just stumble on each other on a beach in Indiana.
Indiana Dunes State Park, yeah. That's really funny.
It's amazing.
I need to start digging over here before my knees give out.
Talk about our baby at some point.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. You want to do that right now?
I pulled out of my pit.
Let's wait for some more people to trickle in. We've got like 210 people right now. We'll probably get above 500 in this stream.
You can show them my new bone.
Yeah, let's take a look at Justin's new bone over there.
It's gonna make us rewrite our
We got some pretties. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
But it is blazing hot.
All right.
Much hotter tomorrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like what? 105 tomorrow?
107, I hear.
107? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Oh, nice.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Our boys here.
Oh yeah. Phil's got some ice water for us?
Yes,
Brilliant.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Got the ice water, got the clean coffee cups, got all the coffee grounds out of them.
What's that, Justin?
Far away with it.
Oh, never mind. Nothing.
You put it right next to me.
Very nice. Something limmy right there. What could that be? Is that like a squashed metatarsal, or what do you make of this, Ethan?
I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're collecting. You know, there's a lot
Very
of this
nice.
stuff you'll tell in the lab.
Right
it's
there.
Completely free of major.
Nice job trenching it. There must have been a big chunk that just came off right here, right? Sometimes that can't be helped.
No, this part came off. This is the end.
Oh,
right
so you
here.
glued that back on?
Yeah.
You put it on.
No, I mean there must have been a big rock under here that just came off. all at
Oh,
once.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes that can't be helped. But
It was
nice job
unfortunate.
keeping it intact.
This was already hanging over because we re-glued and
Yeah, yeah.
everything, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too upset.
Yeah. Nice. Very
Making
nice.
sure to give it a wide berth over here.
Breakfast of always
We shouldn't need as big of a trench
Yeah.
as the rib.
Yeah. No, this is good. Good little bone.
Just gotta maybe clean out some of that some more, get this down.
Nicely done. So this is Justin's first season out here in the field, and he is learning the ropes very quickly. So, yeah.
Do no harm. First rule. Try to do no harm.
Yep.
Don't hurt the bone.
Oh, and Jim, we have a follow-up on that comment from the same person whose parents dug with you. They say, my parents are legitimately freaking out with happiness right now. Thank you so much. Yeah, we just lost my sister a few weeks ago, and this is the first time I've seen them happy since then, so thank you. Oh. Well, thank you for being here. Holy cow.
I was always proud. We had a 30% return rate.
30%? Not
30%.
bad. Yeah.
Return rate. People who dug with me paid, 1,000 for 5 days,
Uh-huh.
and 30% come back year after year after
That's
year.
awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I guess not too hard to live with.
Yeah.
I've only been with you 21 years, Jim, since the year 2000.
Ooh, I gotta get some of that ice water there. And Musega's got a question. Could some variants and species potentially be crossbreeds/hybrids? It's really hard to demonstrate that.
It's hard to demonstrate, but it certainly happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the methodology that's everyone uses, cladistics as a methodology for understanding phylogenetics.
Uh-huh. It can't really pick that out, right?
Cannot deal with hybridization.
Just like it can't do ancestor-descendant relationships, really.
You can't have it, and we know it happens.
Yeah.
Evolution happens within population.
Yep. And we, as humans, exactly.
The processed milk, blue eyes. There's a whole bunch of things that it popped up and then starts spreading.
Yeah.
Things change in population.
I mean, shoot, I've got a crazy amount of Neanderthal DNA. But that's like that's a hybridization event right there. Yeah, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens sapiens. So hybridization is something that occurs probably much more often than we realize, but
and most current paleontologists like to admit.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the sort of thing we can't really pick out with our methods. So
just because we can't specifically identify it on a case-by-case basis doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Absolutely
Yeah.
It's the feebleness of our tools.
Yeah.
It's not the feebleness of reality.
Yeah. And I should also hasten to point out that when we're talking about hybridization, that's between very recently diverged species. So you've usually got to be really, really close to be able to hybridize again.
Yeah, we're probably not likely to find a human-gorilla hybrid.
No.
Yeah.
We've been separate from them for, what, 6 million years?
I think that's some gorillas is like 13.
13 million?
Some chimps is 6 million.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah,
Shoot.
chimps.
Yeah.
Gorillas were way.
Yeah.
Girls is about 8 million.
Yeah, it's quite.
Oh, okay.
Those
Anyway,
are chimps.
yeah.
But actually, there's hominids at 7. What happened? Chimps probably 8.
And TGI Rex says, "Hey Danny, would you also mind asking Jim if he remembers the gaming beaver 5 years ago?"
Oh, that was entertaining.
Yeah, I think I've seen that headline for or a thumbnail for that on YouTube. Yeah.
He posted that and had 300,000 views in 6 hours.
Holy cow!
And after the weekend, it was 3 million.
What's that?
views.
What was his name on
The
there?
gaming beaver?
I subscribe to him on YouTube.
Oh, really?
I watch him all the time.
Oh, nice, nice.
No, I
Yeah.
mean literally.
Uh-huh.
When he put that up, within hours, it was
Uh-huh.
like 300,000 emailed me and said, "Hey, it's up."
Uh-huh. Very
Holy
nice.
cow, by the
Yeah.
end of the weekend,
Uh-huh.
it was like 3 million.
I think I've seen the thumbnail for that. I think it's you laughing and clapping your hands with a picture of a Utah raptor in the thumbnail,
no,
right?
He asked me some stuff that just really amused me. Oh, you gotta bring this one up. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's go
Yeah.
for it.
But yeah.
I'm too stupid not to go for it on things like that. If I was a respectable scientist, I'd just okay.
You wouldn't be live on Twitch
Yeah,
right now?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, me too.
Spouting
Shoot.
it off.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm an old man.
Yeah, you can't be too pretentious as a scientist. It's not a good look, you know? Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I gotta drink some more water.
Yeah.
And now that
Cold
Phil's
water.
got that fresh supply of ice water here, that's excellent. Yeah.
Hey, dude.
Yeah? Oh, I've got this. I'll fill this up. This is insulated. But thank you.
Cold water needs to lower temperature. First day out is always hard. Working on collection.
Well, you heard what happened to Matt. He spent 2 days at the whole point.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's get this filled up.
Fortunately, I've been playing
Thank you. I still have a little bit of ice left in this from this morning.
Sit right here.
Yeah.
a bit about it too.
Thanks, Phil.
But she was small too. Heating up that frame to quarter
Beautiful, thank you.
fast.
Thanks.
And a half fast for me.
Once more, you want-
Yeah.
once more.
I'll put some in my bottle over there.
Yeah, just don't fill it up. Just really only take what you can drink at the time. Because otherwise it'll be hot water.
Oh,
It's a waste.
Izzy wants to know, Jim, what your favorite dinosaur is.
Gastonia.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
Gastonia
Bird's eye. I don't know. Lori McQueenie eye is kind of winning me over too. I mean, Lori McQueenie eye. I'm waiting to get him out of that because that
Has it been published yet?
Yeah, it's been named.
Okay, good.
But-
Gastonia.
Lori McQueenie eye, but it should
Lori
be
McQueenie eye.
Gastonia.
It's from Lori's site.
Right.
And we'll visit that and talk about it
Okay.
at some point. We'll go out
Cool.
there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Do a live stream from there.
Denver Museum's got 12 cabinets of specimens from that site.
Uh
Pretty impressive.
huh. We have a viewer who wants to know from Jim, how have digs and paleo in general changed during Jim's career?
Well,
I'll go ahead and set the camera down.
Propane refrigerator.
glue. We've changed our philosophy on glue a lot.
Yeah. Used to be just shellac, right?
Yeah, well, I never used shellac. I was a little after shellac.
I'm thinking like the Barnum Brown days. Yeah.
But the Liptal and Egyptian cements,
Uh-huh.
these nitrocellulose cements, were wide use when I was first learning this stuff. And they break down, particularly in a warm, humid climate, to powder and nitric acid.
Ugh.
So nitric acid isn't good for your bone.
No,
And
definitely
having
not.
your consolidant turn to a powder, what's left, isn't good for the bone. So there were things at Yale that you could poke your finger right through bones that probably 10 years, 15 years earlier had been solid with them as consolidators. They're nasty. So we don't use those kind of glues anymore. and then of course super glues are frowned on because they're not archival.
Yeah.
But they are
non-reversible.
thick. They're kind of difficult, but you can get rid of super glue. It's just,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you got to use a lot of acetone. You know. But there's things you can't do without super glue.
Yeah,
You know,
especially in the field.
Particularly when you're doing micro, stuff.
Yeah.
Because the
You'll just
thin
lose that piece forever.
penetrance with a pipette will penetrate a crack and it'll never reopen.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you got it together, and the preparation of tiny mammal jaws, where you got a full jaw with all the teeth, that's no more than a centimeter long. To rebuild something like that, the only thing that you can possibly use is super glue. And
Just got to make sure you get it right the first time.
Like Scott Madsen, his ability to deal with those things is good or better than anyone else on the planet. There is no doubt about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen stuff he's prepped out of super nasty hard rock. And it's gorgeous. I mean, there were several professors that almost owe their careers to both stuff that Scott's discovered and preparations that he's done.
Yeah, shout out to Scott Madsen. Holy cow.
No, he's done some, I mean, a number of people really do owe their careers to him. Now, good preparators worth their weight in gold, but they're treated like garbage because they're technicians. The lower form of life. Most paleontologists who work with preparators don't think that way, but administrators do.
Yeah.
That's a lowly tech. They're expendable. Unfortunately, they don't see they're artists.
Right.
Like, we need to, restore the Sistine Chapel. Well, there's a guy that does plasterboarding down the street.
Drywall.
You can put him on a ladder and send him up there and work on it.
Or like
that Jesus.
Yeah, the woman who did the Jesus.
That's so criminal, and people do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, you've got there's only a few people that can do that kind of art restoration.
Yeah.
And certain preparations in paleo can only be done by a handful of people, and sometimes it's impossible. Which is another big innovation, is micro CT scanning.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to go out and build the thing without even getting it out of the rock.
Like what Fisher does, yeah. Yeah.
It's critical. It is totally priceless. It is the future. If someone's interested in going into paleo, they better learn how to deal with digital 3D things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's everything. That's going to be our figures. We won't be using pictures. They'll be files. You look at everything on computers, and boom, you call up the figure, and then you can rotate them and look at all sides. And
3D print it if you want to.
Then you can reprint it at home so you can play with one. I mean, that's the future. And this is the way we should do it, because that means everyone can be involved in paleontology. When everybody's got 3D printers at home,
right?
They could sit there and say, "Oh, I really like this T-Rex skull," and make one, for themselves.
That's what I do at home. Yeah.
I mean, why not? That's the democratization of our science.
Yep.
People love this stuff. Okay, let's get more people involved.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You can't all be sitting there in the quarry. This pit will only hold so many people. And you got to definitely have some skill to come and do this. But there are things.
Oh yeah.
People will be able to do biomechanics. People will be able to reconstruct the limbs of these animals.
Yeah.
And then say, okay, how did they work? How much cartilage could there have been there? Digitally create it and play with. I mean, this is the stuff that this generation is becoming, second nature with.
Right. Something I need to focus on.
I've got a year of my life in a dark room. I don't enter a dark room again in my life. But all my early papers, I did all the photography and all the dark room work. Smells a lot of chemicals. I still can remember. I remember reading those chemicals. Calipers. So nice.
We've got a member of our community who does like Lego models of different dinosaurs, and he wants to know if Jim would like a Lego Gastonia, like a custom-made one.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be against it. I definitely have my art pieces in my house in different media of babies and my kids.
Yeah.
So Danny, how big would it be?
Probably a few inches long.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. He made me a baryonyx because I'm working on Spinosaurids, and a Triceratops, our new Hell Creek Alvarezsaur.
What is it?
Triceratops? Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So.
No, it's the things that people can do with these things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, the art. You know, that's one of the things we may be begging for money down the line because Kirsty Sadler, I've talked her into doing a book on the Cedar Mountain Formation.
Which is the formation we're digging right now, for those of you who just waltzed in. Yeah.
And writing a book that'll engage the public, she can do a better job of it than I can. Sad to say, my dyslexia lets me still crank out science more as a mathematical exercise than easy-flowing popular things. But she's written some beautiful books on paleo.
Yeah.
But we may need more art. And art's not free. Artists deserve to be paid.
Yeah. Christy Sadler?
Yeah. She did 2 books on the paleo, the Grand Staircase.
Paleontology of the Grand Staircase. Let's have some links to that in the chat, moderators, if you don't mind. If you can find it. What was it? What was the Grand Staircase one called? Does anybody remember?
Vanished Worlds of Southern Utah?
Oh, I'm trying to remember the
Look
title.
up, if you look up Dinosaurs of Grand Staircase, Escalante.
Yeah.
And then
Christy
look
Sadler.
it on Amazon, look up books, should come up.
Sadler, yeah. I mean, she's got a bunch of books on site.
Thank you, dude.
She did a beautiful book on the Chin-Lee Formation, you know, in the Southwest, the Upper Triassic. Beautiful book.
It's so cool that she's doing one on the Cedar Mountain now because, well, shoot, Jim, you were talking about this last night. How?
Oh yeah, I'm
you know,
I want to see it done while I can comment on it before it just gets trashed. You know?
But I mean, the Cedar Mountain Formation, there are more dinosaurs that have come out of this formation in Utah in the last 30 years than anywhere else.
Yeah, when I started, there were 3 dinosaurs that referred to the Cedar Mountain. Turns out one of them was actually from Morrison.
Okay.
It was misidentified. Site and the taxa, because it was Cretaceous.
Yeah.
Book is
It
called
can't be Camptosaurus.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a site with little baby Camptosaurus. You know, and you know, but if you told us Cretaceous, and there aren't many baby Camptosaurs to look at, we'll make it a Cretaceous animal.
Her book is called Where Dinosaurs Roamed, Lost Worlds of Utah's Grand Staircase.
There you go. Excellent book.
That's
Yeah.
the
I need to
second
get
book
myself a
on Grand
copy, actually.
Staircase.
What's the first?
It's a general book. The first book ever done on Grand Staircase she did.
Wait, this is the second edition, or what do you mean?
No, this is another book.
She's done 2
Pure
Grand
paleo.
Staircase
Yeah, she did one more of an overview that included paleo. When they first declared it, practically. And she just spent months up in Denali. Park Service is paying her to do a book on Denali. You know, she's got skills. So I'm very happy she's working on
She's got another book called Dawn of the Dinosaurs, the Late Triassic in the American Southwest.
Yeah. That's a wonderful book. That's what I read that, and that's when I called her. Christy, you know, because I met her. You know, I knew who she was. Because she got out of Flagstaff, you know, she's one of our old peoples. Would you be interested tackling the Cedar Mountain as in a popular book? And it looks like Indiana University Press is going to publish it.
Beautiful. Oh, they're great.
She's a little leery that they may be pushing it to be more technical than she would like. I'd like to see a little more technical here and there, but you know.
Yeah, that's something that's
so
comfortable
I think
for.
She and I are kind of wrestling over concepts.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we hit the right, level. You know. That's,
yeah.
You know, because I know, it can be technical. We don't want to get over, but we have learned some things that are so cool. We need to explain it. But we really have. I'm staggered by the results of this work. And the colleagues, you know, that of course, you know, take in certain areas of it, you know, the geochemistry, paleoclimatology, paleosols, you know, some of the dating stuff that's been done. You know, there's been a lot of different works done that are critical. Heck, Lindsey Zano just posted about their ceratopsians with an S behind it. Mustn't touch it this year.
Multiple taxa.
They just shut down no, maybe not multiple taxa.
Multiple individuals.
Maybe more than one individual.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and there was a pelvis described, and I described teeth years ago, in the 90s. From out there, there was decently sized ceratopsian teeth. Single rooted. But they've got an animal. And she has put it on Twitter, so I think we can talk about that much.
Fisher, Dr. Java wants to know, do you think there's a possible opportunity for volunteer programmers or bioinformatics like himself to do something in the field? I don't know. Yeah? Yeah. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but yeah.
I mean, I think there's room for people from all sorts of different backgrounds
Yeah.
in the field. field.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I only do digital prep at home, and you know that's pretty far removed from what I'm doing here. So,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, you could send me a message about that, Dr. Java, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could put you in touch with somebody or something like that. But yeah. Anyway.
I recently had someone ask me about on Twitter. Asked me about where do we learn to do 3D modeling? And there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube.
A tremendous number. Programs like Blender and stuff.
And there's you can get apps that'll work on your phone. You can do good 3D models on your phone.
That's why I just got a new phone so I could do that. One that doesn't have messed up cameras too.
It's the future, and it's becoming way user friendly.
Yeah.
A decade, a bit more than a decade ago.
That's one of my goals.
You have to keep the pictures, the photos the same level.
Yeah.
And, keep track. You don't have to keep track of anything.
Yeah.
It
just does it for you now.
Want more water?
Yeah. Let me.
I would love some.
Put in here. So let me give you this back.
Thank you. Well, appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Just don't fill it.
Yeah, of course not.
We had some guy out here with a 2-gallon water thing. I'm trying to remember who was it. Hopefully no one here. Right now, that would fill it. The ice water is like that's more than a third of all the water in that. Actually, with the ice block in there, it's probably half of all the water in that block in that thing. And by the time you get to most of it, it's going to be hot.
Oh yeah.
It's like no, don't do that to us. This is a treat, and you don't take cold water and stretch it out over an hour. Well, if I stretch it out 2 hours from now, I'll still have cold water. No, you won't.
Especially if it's not insulated.
Yeah, it's a treat, but we're close enough to ice that we can do that.
Let's see. JC Robbins wants to know about Unreal Engine and its applications for paleontology or geology. I'm really not sure about that.
What's Unreal Engine?
It's like a video game engine. So it's like.
Did they do Doom?
No. That's way after Doom, I think, right? Unless it's the new Doom. Unreal Engine, I think, is...
Gears of War?
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody in chat will 100% know this.
lots of the big name ones are made in.
Our whole chat is just going to be flooded with people saying, "Oh, it's this game, it's that game." Yeah.
Sorry.
The thing is,
no, it's okay.
I don't do any computer gaming. At all. But I have a family, and they all do.
I saw you play a cell phone game once on a road trip. Does that count?
What was that?
Trailer Park Boys.
Trailer Park Boys. Greasy Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's different. It doesn't take any skill.
That's school right there.
I went as far as you could go without spending money on that game. I didn't put a penny into that game. It's like, oh, you can buy all these pieces. You can do it. No way. No way. I'm going to buy any of your stuff. I don't have the money. I'm a paleontologist. I have no money.
Yeah. Now, Ethan can do a pretty good Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. Not to put you on the spot. But, let's see, other questions.
I completely rinsed out whatever was in there.
Oh, what is that?
Because it was yellow. It looked like urine.
Oh, it was just
Oh, sorry.
a little bit of drink mix.
Gatorade,
Yeah.
I meant.
It's all right. I don't mind my drinks tainted with Gatorade.
That's my trench over here.
And of course, we're working by hydrating.
Terrific.
Yeah.
We want to maintain a healthy attitude. We have to, at least I know, since I'm not at home anymore.
Right.
I've got to start pumping fluids into my body in a big way.
Yeah, I got to acclimate.
I've got to totally change my drinking style. Just how much water can I get in there without floating away? Because it'll come out to the sides quick enough.
That's an elegant way to put it.
There is nothing like watching yourself sweat, and it's just beating off your arm. It's so hot.
Just watch it emerge from those pores.
117. It's like, oh man. And no one's working. Everybody's just laying in the shade at the quarry. This is too hot.
So most of us have been here for about a week and a half at this point. Jim just got here yesterday, so he's still kind of, acclimating, pressurizing to the temperatures today. Let's see what it is right now. I'll show chat if nobody else wants to.
Would be bad.
It's 103.
Yep, let's see.
Yeah, we got plans for you guys, but we got to wait till it's cooler. There's no way we're going to do some of this stuff
All right.
like this.
In the shade.
Yeah, not on that sunbeam.
Yeah, no, this is in the shade.
This is not bad today.
9% humidity. 105 it's
105, huh?
In the
I
shade.
wonder what's low humidity.
Yeah. 105 Fahrenheit, obviously, chat. Not Celsius.
Yeah.
For those of you watching from overseas.
Yeah, it's nuts when there's a thunderstorm. It was 103 in Salt Lake a couple days ago.
Oh, jeez.
And we had this thunderstorm just kind of graze us.
Uh-huh.
And the humidity went up to like 100% for a while.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
how
that wet bulb
hits
temperature?
you. It's just, you're in your house, you know, and it's like, holy Moses.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have swamp cooler anymore because, you know, they don't work under those conditions.
Under high humidity?
Not at all. They're
oof.
evaporative cooling.
Right.
You know, it's not high humidity. They don't evaporate anything.
Uh-huh.
They don't not work.
I guess people forget that like air conditioning also means dehumidifying.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's why in World War II they had to put air conditioning on all the U.S. submarines because like otherwise things would short out because they're, you know, it's so wet in there.
Wet and moisture, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a Sharpie handy?
No.
I don't have one in my pocket at the moment.
I got some in my car.
Hey, fish.
I got one in my tent. I meant to put in my pocket.
Yeah. That's the first day. Stuff gets forgotten.
All right, fishing. Oh man, it's the trouble being an old man. Things go to sleep like your legs just sitting on your butt, which is one of the weirdest things you learn as you get an old man. So you lose your butt, but you gain a gut.
What'd you say, Jim?
When you get old like me,
Yeah,
you
what
get up there in
happens?
your late 60s, you lose your butt and you gain a gut.
Okay, everybody, try to remember that one.
That is, that's a rule. It's just, it's one, you know,
It's
a constant.
Kirkland's law.
That's why you got to wear suspenders, as a peace treaty with the rest of the world. And as much as I know, it's a great derriere. Some people don't want to share.
Yeah, let's see. Oh wait, and thought generation. If I missed it, I'm sorry. Chat moves pretty fast, and I'm also
It
trying to work at the
does.
same time. Yeah. Yeah, you were watching yesterday.
Yeah, even on a computer, see one and it's off before
Yeah.
you even get to finish reading it.
Yep.
What is?
The messages in the chat that we're trying to read and respond to. Yeah. Dinosaur Dave says if you wear suspenders, you also need a bolo tie. That's.
I have a bolo tie, but I don't wear it in the field.
That is a standard piece of Jim Kirkland fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my first new dinosaur on my bolo tie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got the
Porcelain
Ostrom.
Osteoderm.
Nice. Is it a cast or a real fossil?
It's cast.
It's cast, yeah.
Real fossil. But it's a really good cast.
Yeah.
Because no one can tell it's not real. It's made out of porcelain.
Oh, that's cool.
A doll maker made it for me.
Oh, that's awesome, Jim.
Yeah, so
Hey, what do you say,
it was
Justin?
real porcelain.
Walk this to the nail.
And that's what people should be collecting.
in front of that
Porcelain dolls?
slide.
Ah,
Yeah.
porcelain dinosaurs.
The nail
Oh, we got a question direct to you, Jim.
to the right. of
Do
the-
you remember
oh,
a
yeah.
kindergarten teacher giving you a Triceratops Club shirt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was back when I was working with Dynamation in the 90s.
All right, awesome.
What's the? Is that 50 east?
Yeah,
51.
very cool.
Is that-
Very
that's
cool.
51 east. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I see.
Hey, Jim, do you know Mats
Is
and
it taut?
Kylosaur
Keep it
in
taut
the
there.
woods?
What's this?
Mats and Kylosaur in the woods?
Mats and Kylosaur in the woods.
Movie Valley and Kylosaur.
Oh, yeah.
There's a paperwork about it, and it has Matt
Is it
Wadle.
straight over that?
Yeah, Matt Whittle,
Wadle,
yeah, the sauropod expert.
yeah.
Wrote a beautiful book on sauropods. I recommend it highly.
So let's get it nice and taut.
But illustrated by Hallett, Mark Hallett.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. I mean, sure you've seen
I
it.
should probably get that, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful
Jim,
book.
what's the name of the book for everybody?
25 north.
Sauropods? I'm terrible with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Just look up Sauropods Wedel, Wedel. You'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Beautiful, popular book. It really
This
is.
is a temporary
Beautiful
here.
art. You know,
Yep.
Mark Hallett loves doing sauropod art.
Oh, the person who was asking about the Triceratops Club shirt?
Yeah.
That was their dad who gave it to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So they're watching right now. And the dad and mom are watching right now, too.
Oh, that's crazy.
They say, thank you, guys. And Jim, my dad is crying. He's so emotional. And Jim, it means so much to him. Aw. That's very sweet. Well, we're really glad you're watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're having I'm glad you're having such a good time.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am too.
That is the one.
I'm a big believer that people that love dinosaurs should get to experience it. This is also the future. What Danny's doing now is, I know North Carolina does it some, but they do it an hour or so a day, and it's only seen by people in their auditoriums. They're gonna have a live stream from out of Crystal Geyser. And everybody goes to the auditorium, and then Lindsey pops up on the screen.
That's cool.
No, that's the right one.
Yeah.
You did it right.
And does a deal with it. Which is pretty cool. She does a good job. She brings in millions of dollars in donations.
Yeah, we don't make nearly that much here.
Man, she's a huge success. I'm very proud of Lindsey.
Ontogeny. You're co-authors on a paper, right?
Yeah, well, she did her thesis on stuff I discovered, or brought to the public's attention.
Oh, Asazi, thank you for the 6 months of support. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Now, that's what you want. You want your students to just go way past you. 'Cause that is what it's all about. Like, yeah, are you jealous? No. She was my student. You want your students to do better. If you don't, you shouldn't be teaching.
Here, we're getting some questions about Utah Raptor. We'll get to that in a bit, I think. But somebody's got a question about Spielberg and his oversized dromaeosaurs and stuff like that. I think we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, I do have a photo of a Utah Raptor Spielberg eye t-shirt.
Oh.
At home, but it's not here. But they did make t-shirts.
It's an interesting story, so we'll get to that.
It is an interesting story, and I was basically had a gun to my head. Right. Ostrom deserved it, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Zip tie?
This is significant.
Oh, to make a new...
Probably a rib. It's still nice to see something that's going along for ways.
Next the bin there, next to the hole. Feel that.
Aha! Nice job, Fish. King of knowing where stuff is.
He's been around the torch for a while.
We've
You
got
could
somebody
dig in
else
the
in
Hell
chat.
Creek, but that's just easy.
Was it digging in the Hell Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Compared to
cakewalk
this.
compared to this. Yeah.
But yeah,
What is it?
Most of the time.
digging Hell Creek,
What about it?
it's so easy. Overall, I mean, sometimes you get massive overburden. Well, you were hiding. Are you actually done? Are you a chunk of cow?
Somebody in chat. Another paleontologist in chat. Not sure what their name is, but they say, "Hi, Jim. Great to see you. You're a great guy and a paleontologist. Thanks for being a friend and a mentor."
Sincerely, anonymous.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sincerely,
Yeah,
I don't get my
totally
name
like
to be
good
associated with
thoughts.
Kirkland.
those of you that
I
have
think I know
bad
who that
thoughts
is,
about
but
me,
yeah.
you don't have to mention. I think it's
Size helps.
one of these plant chunks. It's just a big old plant chunk.
And it was kind of already sitting on
Doesn't even look like plant. Just some weird nodule.
Let's see. Mechaholic, thank you for the 24 months of support. Really appreciate that. Yeah.
it's gonna have to be like this. So I'll get the glue out. Tape, folding tape.
We don't crush our thing.
Sometimes you get into a troublesome chunk of blocks and just let it sit till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it'll just start crumbling for you.
I had to have that. Do that with this yesterday. Right at the end of the day. Glad I did.
And you take a wet brush and dampen the rock too. Water doesn't hurt these bones. It's not like the brushy basin where they just disintegrate and get wet.
Why is that, you think? Why the
It's
difference
swelling
in
clay.
swelling? Okay,
There's all this
smectitic.
volcanic ash in the clay. So you get it wet and it just expands. And if clay's penetrated in the bone and all, does that to the bone too.
Is that smectite or bentonite or?
It's smectite, but it's bentonitic. Smectite is the class of clays.
Gotcha.
There's a number. The most common is montmorillonite, is the name of the clay mineral. Clays are minerals, but smectitic clays are basically the class of swelling clays, and volcanic ash. Being a fine powder of little glass shards.
Right.
Basically, glass is not stable at Earth's surface temperatures and pressure, so the glass eventually starts breaking down, and when it does, it turns, and it's dirty glass, not pure silica like window glass. It's full of sodium and potassium and calcium and other elements. So when it breaks down, it gives you clay minerals that have these swelling properties and silica in solution. And that extra silica is what mineralizes the bones in petrified wood and makes all these chert peat, disliquified peat. That's coming up from the Morrison ashes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Morrison right under us. I mean, a couple meters below our butts is Jurassic rock that is full of ash.
Like I said, very beginning of the Cretaceous period. Yeah.
We'll look at it. I mean, it's a few meters below our butts. Yeah, we are near the bottom. But we do know there's an even lower bone level that occurs in certain places.
That would be exciting.
Yeah, but they're not as densely, they've got a couple complete bones, but it's not a place like here where you can just keep digging and keep finding more stuff.
Gotcha.
The lower probability of just digging and finding more stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Harrier hawk is they're just minerals even if they are in the shape of bones forming prehistoric animals. You mean, yeah, so there is still some organic material in some of these bones too. It's not entirely just rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, in some ways it would be better if it was small minerals.
Exactly, it
They'd
would
be
crumble
harder.
less easily.
It wouldn't crumble so much with exposure to air. But, no, we have bone. My guy Moore Quarry, we discovered burning acetone off. That the bone would actually, it was so much carbon in the bone, it would actually start charring.
Oh.
Like charcoal. So the bones would, sauropod bones are burning in the quarry. And that was like, well, that's the end of doing that.
There's too much of the original animal still in the bone.
Yeah, it's down to carbon, but
Uh-huh.
some heat, you can oxidize carbon.
Yeah. Oh shoot, Sergeant Raccoon, thank you so much for those gift subs there. Thank you for supporting the channel and helping me keep doing what I do. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you. Excellent. Yeah, shoot, and then up in the Hell Creek, we've got like Mary Schweitzer's work. Finding proteins and like cell structure.
Some of the stuff, though, there are some debates.
Yeah.
Some of that
whether it could just be like biofilm or something.
Because of the organics that are in the bone.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff's barely fossil. If it gets close enough to the surface, bacteria and spores of various things that will break down organics make their way into the bone, and of course they give you biologic signature. So you got to be real careful. I mean, she's got real stuff too.
Oh yeah.
But she has been criticized for some of that, and it's like, well, it's not her fault. That some of this stuff happens. You know, she's inventing new methodologies.
Right, when you're at the forefront of a field like that.
Giving her a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Science works by testing and falsifying things. And falsifying your own work is never pretty.
And Dinosaur Dave, my P.O. box is still active. Yeah, if you send a Lego Gastonia for Jim, I'll make sure I forward it to him, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and we've got somebody in chat from Belgium. We've talked about this before, me and him. He says, can you tell Jim I did that analysis and could conclude there is still original material in the bone?
Yeah.
And I was able to filter out the modern day organics.
Yeah, it's, you know, you prove your, you know, your tools.
Get some water. And
you know, we're doing that all the time. That's the fun part of this profession is, you know, the new tools. You know, I don't have to go back in the darkroom ever. Ever. I know many people now never been in a dark room because they had to. It's certainly fun to play their photography and doing things like that or what you want to do, but it was the only way we could do it.
I have been in a dark room before, but it was repurposed into like a holotype room in a museum collections. Yeah. And Raptor wants to know, is the Utah Raptor project still on GoFundMe?
No.
No, not on GoFundMe. Okay.
No, I'm really sad about that. It was the state. It wasn't a state site,
Right.
because the state didn't want to look cheap, and we couldn't do it at Thanksgiving Point because they said if you gave money to something through us, they would think they're giving money for us. So we won't let you do it. So Scott Madsen, the guy we were raising money for, had to be the GoFundMe guy. Right. Which Scott, after a while, got bugged at because he was the one having to deal with taxes.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and it's just the way life is. It's hard to bring in money and do it legally.
So is there a place
if I
where
take a gift of over like $50 as a state employee, I can get in big trouble. You know, and it's like, you know, they know me and trust me and whatnot, but it's the rules to prevent, you know, the kind of illegal activities that we all don't want to see happen.
So is there a place where people can donate to the Utah Raptor project?
Well, I would say through Utah Friends of Paleontology.
Oh, okay, through UFOP,
and say specifically, you know, in fact, you can talk to Phil Polcelli, our banker.
Phil is the official treasurer. Yeah, for UFOP. Yeah.
But,
I can give my address if they want to send a check for UPOP through my address.
Yeah. Okay.
And they can actually address UFOP through Utah Geologic Survey too, because we are the base.
I think they have a PayPal donation thing on the website too, don't you? For UFOP?
I'm not that familiar with the website.
Because I know I've donated
on our
before
webpage. There's a thing for STEM Utah. And people have been they donate big chunks of money. They've been putting in STEM Utah to help save it from getting a bunch of overhead taken out, and then they were transferring that money directly to Scott.
Nice.
You know, so we were trying to stay out of the line so we don't pillage it.
Right. Yeah, so if anybody wants to donate to the Utah Raptor project, they could do so on the UFOP website. Which
is utahpaleo.org.
Yeah, utahpaleo.org. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. And our biggest thing now is, though, we've got to try to figure out how to get, hire a full-time preparer. You know, we've just got to get someone, and then we can be doing stuff, and they can train people, to do the careful, delicate work and expand the program.
I know I've talked about this a bunch on stream before, but Jim, would you mind just telling people what the Utah Raptor block is and why it's important?
Okay.
It's amazing.
Basically, from here, pretty much 8 miles straight to the west, almost on a due west line, there is a place that I actually got named Utah Raptor Ridge. Officially, it's a national place name now. And way up high, about 800 feet up on Utah Raptor Ridge, a geology student who I was working with some, reported back to me that he saw what looked like a human arm bone coming out of the rock. He said it was a pretty good looking bone. So he had some pictures, and he sent the pictures with arrows. And I got Scott Madsen to come down from Dinosaur National Monument, where he worked at the time, and come down there and let's go out and look. We spent half a day, and we were just about to give up because the bone bleaches white, and it's coming out of white sand. So, you know, once you start seeing it, then it, you know, your eyes start picking it out. And that's often the way. You got to get your vision to focus in on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
But after about 4 hours, we actually did see a couple of these. What it was a Utahraptor foot sticking out of the wall, broken, you know, off through the metatarsals.
Yeah.
And the foot was going in because several years later, we ended up having a big rock fall that broke chunks out of that section, and we found fragments of the claw on the slope, fragments. So the boulders falling out, you know, 100 feet and hitting the site wasn't a good thing. But most of the site survived, and we finally pulled it off, and it's full of theropod skeletons at a density like Ghost Ranch with the Coelophysis material.
How many bones would you estimate are in there? Just a rough
bones. How many animals?
How many different animals?
Because they're articulated, semi-articulated.
Yeah.
I think dozens.
Dozens of individual animals.
Yeah. And we're barely going through because the top is just solid skeletons. But the top, I'm starting to think of as the flanks of a sand volcano. Because we know it's a dewatering. No question.
Yeah, so almost like quicksand or something like that.
Yeah, but the animals that we're getting in the upper layer might have been in like the caldera of the sand volcano.
Okay.
And then we had a dewatering event that kind of blew their skeletons up onto the flanks, where there was still enough connective tissue to keep them together for the most part. But we now know there is, a second animal in there.
Not just Utahraptor.
Yeah,
but
we have
new.
a growth series of Utahraptor, which is exciting. But we also have an animal smaller than what I always think of as a 2-year-old Utahraptor. They're fully adult. Where Utahraptor that size is very immature. And the reason I can be comfortable saying it's adult, looking at the vertebra and the sacrum, the pelvic area, fully fused, completely at a smaller size than, you know, we have a Utahraptor juvenile. And you look at the sacrum, and all the vertebrae are completely separate from each other. And obviously that's an animal got a lot of growing to do. But other aspects of this animal suggest it might be a smaller related species. But, you know, we got 2 disarticulated skulls for a new dromaeosaur. And, you know, we need to hire a preparator, and that's hard to do. It takes money, and running it through the government is, you know, you got to get a legislature saying, "Oh, we'll give you ongoing money for a position," and that's not very popular.
But so for anybody who maybe isn't familiar with it, there is a giant block that they were able to take out of the quarry.
9 tons.
9 tons. 9.5. So Phil over here actually engineered.
Yeah, he engineered it.
The skid.
The sled.
That
it came down the mountain on.
It was quite the undertaking. The thing's like
1.5 inch diameter bolts holding it.
1.5 diameter inch bolts. That's huge.
10 foot long?
12.
12 foot long.
12 feet long. So it's like the size of a minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we got it off intact.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, yeah, we did good there.
So this block is sitting in Salt Lake City right now, just waiting for, you know.
If you go to our website, you know, we have, you know, flyovers and, you know, you can get a handle on what's going on there.
I've shown videos of it on my stream before and photos. When LJ and I came out in October, I took a bunch of photos because you were showing us the block.
Yeah.
It's the first time he'd ever seen it. And I showed that to chat and asked people, like, hey, if you've got some, you know, a few extra dollars floating around, you know, donate it to the GoFundMe or whatever. And, and so people did. But it's super exciting. We've got a brand new Utahraptor-like animal that's going to come out of that, along with a bunch of Utahraptor. Different growth stages, we'll be able to learn about Utahraptor ontogeny. And do you think it's Hippodraco that's in there, the iguanodont?
I'm guessing, but we know there's more than one kind of iguanodont.
Yeah.
And I got to look at Karen Poole's thesis. She described a juvenile back end of an iguanodont as one of the bait animals. And we should be able to compare it with what we think is Hippodraco. And because it's real different. The tail vertebra, neural processes are much shorter than in almost any other iguanodont from the yellow cat. In fact, there's a sail-backed yellow cat iguanodont.
Yeah, like the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, well, they're not tall. It's more like, what is it, Morialsaurus from Spain? It's a sail-back thing, much more robust than Tyrannosaurus. I think it's more like the one from Spain.
Interesting. Okay.
But, now there's so many cool things.
So what do you think of the idea that that iguanodont got stuck in the mud and then...
Well, there are two. There's an adult and a juvenile.
What do you think of the idea that those got stuck and then just the... I'm trying to, like, tell a story, basically,
well,
for the viewers.
There's a blob that's lower down and to the side. It's a lot of sauropods stuff.
Okay.
But that's... they probably wouldn't notice that. They probably got stuck in there in the smelling carcasses that have attracted the meat eaters. It's a predator trap because it's mostly theropods by far. And we've actually got fossil bacteria on the bone surfaces.
Like a bacterial mat?
Yeah, a coating.
Coating.
On the bone surfaces.
Yeah.
And, you can't do a lot of taxonomy with carbonized bacteria. They look like just little tiny micron-sized ampules. But you can see how consistent they are in size and shape. And sometimes I wonder if some of the structures they see on bird feathers that they interpret for color are actually close-packed bacteria fossils.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe you need to test that. I got something here. Looks interesting.
Something new?
Oh, yeah. They're bigger. Next to this grid. Thank you for sending me immediately to a productive site.
Look good?
No overburden for Jim.
Yeah, you can see split.
The Gypsona?
No, not the chips, but the rocky one.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we might need to be a little more cautious with this.
Sure.
Shoot.
Yeah,
We can do, when that's dry, we can just do another coat.
Yeah, the top jacket might have been a bit thin.
That's all good. We'll do another layer in a bit then. Thanks, man. Take it.
Gen B8, hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Good to have you here. The question from Nolo: are there any specific gaps in the fossil record you guys would like to see filled?
Yes.
Yeah?
Coniation.
Yeah.
Well, we already got sites in coniation. We just can't get access to it. We want to buy this piece of property so we can get to the only coniation age dinosaur sites in the world. And we can't get to them. But I've been there and I found in 20 minutes a hadrosaur skeleton. A hadrosauroid.
Why not? Yeah,
It's brilliant. We got theropods and we shoveling over bird and playing with it. Found a complete turtle in my shovel. Jeez. Threw it off the hill, but I got it in time. Before I just plug it off the cliff. Pretty amazing. I'm just...
What about like a burning question in...
No, the big thing in Utah, Middle Jurassic.
What does the Middle Jurassic look
It's
like
a
in
blank
Utah?
almost globally.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of seaway.
What's this?
There's a lot of seaway.
And sand dunes on the margin, but we have trackways everywhere in this stuff. We just have no bones. And a lot of the Middle Jurassic they thought they had in China, they now have as early Upper Jurassic.
Oh.
So all this Jurassic stuff.
Shoot, so all those Middle Jurassic stegosaurs they have there are not actually Middle Jurassic.
That's the conclusion now.
Oh boy.
Really?
Yep, I've been to those sites.
Huh.
I didn't do the dating work, but the pubs are by pretty reputable people.
Huh.
So why would like Tojungasaurus is Middle Jurassic?
Oh,
What I
no,
got?
no, we're talking. How do you
I'm sorry,
say
late
it?
Jurassic.
Euphanosaurus, the most primitive known stegosaur.
Oh yeah,
Huyangosaurus?
That's lower Upper Jurassic now.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but Susie Maidment and Omar think they have a stegosaur in the Middle Jurassic of Morocco.
Oh.
In fact, Susie named one.
Uh-huh.
And Omar's got parts that might go to it.
Yeah.
But
That's
they're
a
not
weird
talking.
thing.
This is part of the problem. And Omar, Morocco in general is the Wild West.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's Morocco is definitely. I want them to be more serious and don't just let stuff get ripped off piecemeal, which has been the policy.
So what would that potentially teach us if we can figure out what's going on in the Middle Jurassic? Like, which groups would suddenly make more sense?
Yeah,
or...
a bunch of groups.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, Middle Jurassic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where Maniraptorans originate.
Right.
That's, you know, where a bunch of the big groups of the Cretaceous actually appear.
Yeah.
In the Middle Jurassic, they have to.
Yeah, because we don't have.
But we have no record of what's going on.
We've got no Maniraptorans older than what, like Archaeopteryx or something?
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Unless maybe Earlyanosaurus.
Archaeopteryx is a bird. What are you talking about? It's a Maniraptoran.
It's a Maniraptoran.
Okay.
Was
the
it
oldest one?
Earlyanosaurus was a proposed therizinosaur from like the early Jurassic?
Yeah, and I still have big doubts. I think it's some kind of prosauropod more.
Yeah.
Side.
That makes sense.
My left side. You shade that down.
The therizinosaurs are way derived, you know. And, you know, it's just like, you know how many ghost lineages you got to throw in to have that be what's going on? It's just like, it makes zero sense.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we know nothing because all the dinosaur records are, you know, 50% ghost lineages.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
Oh, Ladina, one of my moderators, wants to know, was that land that Jim was talking about with the coniation strata? Was that private or just difficult to access?
No, it's Forest Service land.
Yeah, it's public land,
but the people on the bottom land that you have to go through a gate to get to it. You can drive right next to some of these bone dubs, but it's a private kind of, let's say, anti-government family. Not the Bundys, but they're close kin. Philosophically.
They're sister taxon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't. They you know they think they try to build a house on the Forest Service land. And because of us, they get caught, which makes them not happy with us.
Oh yeah.
The Forest Service cannot see what we're doing. And they're like looking and saying, "That's Forest Service. And you've got a 3-story house on it." That's the problem. And I think that property I'd like to see turned over to Grand Staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah, property Grand Staircase.
Yeah.
It should be.
What was it called?
How are you going to do it?
Oh, we'll probably leave here at 5, right?
Yeah, so you're going to close it.
Yeah.
Talk at 5?
Yeah. Yeah. Naked Ninja wants to know, an odd question, is there a dinosaur name that you'd like to change? Either to describe it better because it's outdated or it's just not cool enough? It's not really how it works, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it might be a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Like, if you could change
well, okay, yeah.
But no, I really don't.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No regrets there?
Nah, it's, you know, when they named, you know, renamed Centaurosus Megapnosaurus.
Yeah, that was Mike Ivey at Montana State who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact, you know, big dead lizard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in the profession really were ticked.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden people start calling Centaurosus, which are not coelophysis. They start calling them anything that refers to Centaurosus as another species coelophysis.
Yeah.
As a way of getting around using that term. And it's like, you can't. The term is there. And it's valid. It's a different genus. So it doesn't matter what your political views are on the issue. You know,
that was Centaurosus rhodesiensis, right?
What?
Centaurosus rhodesiensis was one of those.
And they renamed Megapnosaurus rhodesiensis.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's a type of Centaurosus.
And
Centaurosus kyanticati is probably a different genus.
Okay, from the South African one?
No,
Or from the African one, yeah.
Yeah,
not South African. Is it South Africa?
Oh, no, it's Rhodesia. Yeah, it's rhodesiensis.
Yeah. Huh.
What was Rhodesia?
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
Yes, man.
Yeah. Adult Viper says Oviraptor needs a rename for sure. I mean, that's an example of one where the name is wrong, but it can't really change.
Yeah, it can't change.
Not a dinosaur, but Basilosaurus.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one to rename.
Go back to Zeuglodon.
Can't be done.
Yeah, that's such
we
a
have
great
rules.
name. Well, you can actually petition the ICZN for
Yeah, but
something
you
like
got to
that.
have legitimate reason within the rules.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you can't just say, "Well, I really, really don't like it.
I mean, if
I
you
really,
can,
really, really don't like it."
if you can demonstrate that the name that's valid is like confusing or misleading or is not in, I think the real kicker is like if most people don't actually use it, then you can petition them and say
It's gonna muddy up the literature if we don't
exactly, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's like Coelophysis. You know, when they renamed it Rio Rubosaurus.
Oh, Rio
What
Ribosaurus, yeah, yeah.
Jim, what's this business about renaming Coelophysis?
Well, the type material of Cope, who named the original, was pretty scrappy and not very diagnostic. I mean, it's not, you can't tell it from Centauris or any of these Coelophysoids. Basically, a diagnostic to this, you know, subfamily kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so since it was not something to be diagnosed, you know, basically, you know, Spencer and gang said, well, it's invalid. So they named it Rio, you know,
Rio Aribosaurus.
Saurus,
Yeah.
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 And everybody knew it as Coelophysis.
Yeah.
So his petition is like, look, everybody for 100 years has looked at these pictures and these bones of Coelophysis.
Yeah.
Let's make one of these animals the holotype.
Yeah.
And
a
just
a
you know,
neotype or something,
and
right?
that way you cut down on the global confusion
Uh-huh.
that this new name is going to create. And the you know, the Code International Committee on Stratigraphic Nomenclature ruled that we're going to use Coelophysis and have a different type specimen.
Uh-huh.
You guys win.
Yeah. It's nice
Yeah.
when there are cutouts in the rules that say, yeah, when the spirit of the law is being
Yeah.
threatened, we can adhere to the spirit rather than the letter. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
But to do it just because I don't like the name
Yeah.
is a bit different.
That's the problem with like changing the name of Basilosaurus back to Zweigledon is that everybody's been using the name Basilosaurus for
For a long
100
time,
years.
yeah.
Which is a whale
Yeah.
that where the name means something reptile.
King reptile,
King reptile.
yeah.
So it's kind of silly to have a whale be called a reptile, but
Yeah.
the meaning of the name is the least important part of a name. It's just like the fact that we have a moniker that symbolizes a specific species. That's really what matters. As long
Yeah.
as it means that species, that's all that matters.
Yep.
The name could mean rich businessman in Latin, and it's like we still know
Well,
what it means.
theoretically,
Yeah.
you could name a dinosaur Fred.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the name has probably not been used, and it could be valid. You know, because you
That
don't
would
have
be
to
fun.
Latinize things anymore.
Right.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So, like when we named
Joanne Rivers.
Paiutomys Tiberti,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what's his name that was working with me on the turtles? He said, no, we don't need the I, we'll just call it Tibert. Just use Tibert's last name. Okay, you know, if that's the way it is, sure.
That's cool.
That's kind of funny though, because oftentimes, right, when you're doing systematic nomenclature, like even in the title of a paper, for example, it'll say Triceratops, Marsh 18 something,
Right.
is Triceratops. So without even parentheses, it'll say the author of the last name of the person who named it. So if you have the last name of the species name, also a name, then it's
Yeah.
going to be like Ned Colbertia, Kirkland, 1995, Anduzai, or Anduza.
Yeah, but
It'd be so confusing.
the grammatics are such that, you know, unless you're not doing it right.
Yeah, it'd be a little tricky
Yeah.
though.
And not every journal requires that either to put
I think it's really clunky to not do it in parentheses.
Yes,
I think it's
agree.
really silly.
Yeah.
Oh, the author's name?
To just, no,
In the
yeah,
title.
to just,
No,
so
but,
if I
but
say,
if it's got in parentheses means the species has had the genus name changed. That's what it means. It has a legitimate meaning.
sure,
if
no,
it's-
but what,
So when you put parentheses, you're saying
Uh-huh.
this is not that genus.
well, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is when you put the name of the author after the name of the taxon without it being in parentheses.
Or italicized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I say,
Triceratops marsh or something.
yeah,
yeah.
but you shouldn't
Yeah.
use parentheses. It means because it means it's invalid.
sure,
That
sure,
that
But what-
author's
I just
term
yeah.
is not valid.
Oh.
That's the rule. I mean,
Huh.
believe me, I've done enough of this, published enough.
No,
Are we talking about
we're
people-
not disagreeing with you here.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
just saying it looks kind of clunky. We're not saying in a
Yeah.
citation either. So like a citation would say
Yeah,
that.
I would say, you know, if you italicized the whole thing or had it in a different script,
yeah.
I wouldn't be against that. But I wouldn't want to change that, particularly when you describe talking about species, because if you don't put in parentheses, it means the author put it in the right genus to begin with.
Yeah,
That's
I think we're talking about
basically what it
different
means.
things.
And if it's in parentheses, it was put in a different genus initially, and now it's in this genus.
We're talking about in a title for a manuscript. How like in some journals require that you put the name of the author after the name of the genus,
in regular
which
text.
is like confusing and clunky and weird. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, not in the title.
I'm
talking when you listen to the systematic.
We're talking about titles.
Yeah.
So you'd have a paper that says that where the title of a paper could be forearm mechanics, biomechanics of the forearm of Torvosaurus Jensen.
Torvosaurus dinosaur Jim Jensen.
Yeah. Which is just a little hard on the eyes to read.
Yeah. I mean, especially if like English is not your first language and you're just trying to like learn how to read the literature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is that the nomenclature is supposed to be of international applicability.
Exactly. Yeah. So no matter what language it's in,
it still means the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, one of those smaller brushes. There's like 17 right there.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
You bet.
Weird stuff.
Fisher, could you help Justin make a little gypsum for his little bone?
Oh, Paleo Stream is in here. Joshua Knupe, a paleo artist from Germany.
Show him the ropes.
He says, "Hi, Danny. Hi, Jim. And hi, everyone else, too." Yeah. Ethan and Justin and Phil and Fisher. I'm just listing everybody, trying to be inclusive.
I love your art.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Ken will be here today.
Oh, Ken's gonna get here today?
Yeah.
Nice.
What's this?
Ken, our friend Ken is coming from, you met him at MTE.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in our van at the pre-meeting field trip.
Who was?
Ken Rayburn.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that? Ken that was just here?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Sure
Coming
is.
back?
Yep, every weekend.
Every weekend he's going to drive 6 hours each way.
From Denver, yeah.
He's committed.
He should be committed.
He's unhinged.
Well, the thing is, at some point, someone's going to be taking over the science. If they hire someone with my same interests to replace me, state paleontologist, that'd be fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But if you can't find a fit,
is it practical? Is it going to happen? They're going to get the most qualified person for the job.
Are they going to get a...
and they might work on balance.
Is it possible you might get an invertebrate guy?
What's this?
Is it possible you might get an invertebrate guy in your job?
Not likely
Lord
now.
help us,
It'll be vertebrates
How
for
about
sure.
Pleistocene?
Ugh.
It's not impossible. I mean, Greg McDonald was one of my competition on the short list, and he's a Pleistocene guy. So it was me, Greg McDonald, and who was the third person? Who was the third person?
It wasn't Samson, was it?
No.
Samson already had a job, right?
Oh, come on. Who was the
He
third
just barely
person?
had the job.
Is it Mike Parrish? I don't know, but anyway, I know Greg was a co-finalist with me.
See, somebody noticed that Maddie was gone. No one will discover her remains in another 140 million years. She left to go home.
Do you know when she's flying out?
She thought you were talking too seriously, and she started to run.
Danny, do you know when she's flying out?
Self-preservation.
I don't know.
August 3rd was the original. I don't know if she changed it.
I'm not sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
The hope was that she could go in and work in the lab with John. That was the hope.
Yeah, she probably is.
I'm sure she did.
That's an interesting looking little bone. I always like it.
Question from Oscar Jr. Do most paleontologists think, even with all the inaccuracies, that popular media has had a positive effect on paleontology?
Probably.
Well, you can't deny that one way or another Jurassic Park has upped the ante a huge.
Oh yeah, shoot. Well, you were telling me about the number of jobs, how it just exploded.
Oh yeah. They used to, before Jurassic Park and through the early part of the 90s. Took a while to warm up, but I always used to joke there was like one job nationally every 2 years
would open up.
Yeah. And, at my level, one every couple of years. And now it's like getting anyone hired in paleontology that doesn't work on dinosaurs is hard because they're the flavor of the month. And that's because of the movie.
The flavor of the 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Or 3.
There's other important things.
3, shoot.
I mean, we need paleobotanists, but no jobs.
Paleontologists.
You know, there's jobs for dinosaur people because everyone loves dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And there never was because they were extinct and not worthy of study. No, that's why I tell people all the time. It's like outreach, you know, the public is why we exist.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
that's why this sort of thing is
important. If I didn't
important.
care about this stuff, I would not have a job.
Well, shoot, when you worked for Dynamation, that's like a... I mean, that was...
Private industry.
That was one of the biggies, yeah. No, we did some serious outreach.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people interested in this stuff.
I mean, that's why that job existed, right?
And we had the Smithsonian charged money to go into the Smithsonian for the first time for dinosaurs live and in color back in the mid-90s.
Huh.
First time they ever charged
Uh-huh.
for people to go.
And they probably had to just to keep it from getting too crowded, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the lines were...
It's not like they needed the money. They just needed a way to regulate crowds, I'm sure, yeah.
Well, they were paying... I mean, Dynamation was getting
Uh-huh.
a chunk of the gate.
Right.
But the visitation was through the roof. Now, Dynamation, you know, they had mismanagement, or they should be still thriving.
Yeah.
But,
Can you explain what Dynamation was for anybody in the chat who doesn't know?
Yeah, I know. It's been a lot of years since they went belly up.
Yeah.
There's still Dynamation robots all over the planet.
Yeah,
though.
chances are if you've ever been to a dinosaur museum or a shopping mall, or I don't know, they're all over the place.
They're not generally in your bigger museums.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're generally shopping malls or aquaria. Newport Aquarium has a Chronosaurus robot. Yeah, out by the parking lot.
Do you know anything about going on at Thanksgiving Point, the experience with the dinosaurs?
Nothing.
Oh, I drove by there just a couple weeks ago on my way here.
Did you see the live action dinosaurs in the
I didn't get to see them, no, but I saw a bunch of their banners. They look, I think some of them might be reused Dynamation dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're movable.
Yeah, they're
What were you
animatronic.
saying? So,
No, all that stuff. I mean, if Dynamation hadn't, like, you know, Chris Mays, nice guy. I mean, really, I love Chris. He's a sweet man. But not a good businessman. He was a TWA pilot that, you know, was doing the Tokyo-LA flight, you know, for years. And he'd be in Tokyo overnight, and he just, you know, what to do, and he went, saw a Kokoro dinosaur exhibit. And, because they were doing it in Japan, and he said, this would go over big, and they were awful. Yeah,
That animatronic dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, but man, we should do this. So he talked the LA County Museum into doing a Kokoro exhibit, and he packaged it, and, you know, put it together with those guys when Craig Black was the director of the museum. And it got huge attendance. So Phil, you know, Chris Mays got some investors, golfing buddies, tends to be how he operated. and they created this company and bought a bunch of Kokoro dinosaurs. And started doing traveling exhibits. Then they brought, you know, the star, Bob Bacher, on the board to help design stuff with George Callison, you know, who's, you know, Long Beach, and, you know, the professor of Mark Norell and Jim Clark, you know. So
He worked the Fruto Paleo area?
Yep. And sweet guy. I mean, Omar's whole thing for the meeting was paid for by George Callison.
Wow.
You know, George's a good guy. And he was very happy, you know, with Omar and the way he approached it and stuff. So he was very pleased.
Is Omar from Egypt?
Morocco.
Morocco, yes.
It's, what's his name's from Egypt?
Bilal.
Bilal.
So we had some questions in the chat about why we're digging in this particular spot. Jim, do you want to talk about how this site was first discovered years ago?
Yes. I was, you know, we had just found that year the Gastonia site.
So it was like 1990 or something?
Yeah, 1990.
Yeah.
And
That's a while ago.
there was a guy in Grand Junction that, you know, worked with me, quite a bit, geologist. And we went out poking around and basically looked at the geologic. Oh, no, I've been talking to Helmut Doling, you know, and I never met the man. Great geologist and friend. But I said, yeah, I know you've been mapping around Arches National Park. Is there any way I can get a copy of your preliminary map? And in the mail, like 2 weeks later, I got this folded up, taped together, you know, color Xerox of the entire map of the Arches region, full color, taped. And I looked up here, you know, because we were working not that far from here, and saw this back bowl it was all mapped at the time as Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, And knowing they were mapping the poison strip as the base of the Cedar Mountain at the time.
Right.
I said, this is going to be all Cedar Mountain in that bowl.
It's all Cretaceous, not
Found
Jurassic.
our way in,
Yeah.
and we actually started walking from the other side of that hill of poison strip exposures, and working. We'd find bone coming out, and that's cool. And then we go down lower, and there'd be more bone, and finally the lowest bone was this level over by the creek. Osteoderms of Gastonia.
Yeah.
But this guy is not Gastonia.
Armor plates of an ankylosaur. Armored dinosaurs.
Little bitty ones.
Jim, who was with you?
This was Dan Howe, who was the geologist.
It wasn't Madsen and
Nope, it was just him and I. This was in 1990.
1990.
Yeah, this is a long time ago. I've been walking these rocks for many years.
Okay.
Found a lot of sites in the 90s.
I usually like.
Yeah, but I didn't have the ability to develop many. I still don't have the
continuing,
ability to develop any of them because
if I can pop them off in a tiny little piece of rock.
Ken Carpenter was a competitor, right?
No, we had nothing to do with any of this stuff.
He wasn't here
He wasn't totally not in Utah
Oh, okay.
back then.
So who found the first bits of bone near this current?
Right here, what I brought Don, and once we figured out, because we had the student from India doing a thesis project on the paleosols over there by the Yellow Cat Road, and he's looking at the church and whatnot, and I'm like, these sites are right above the church, and they're below the calcrete. These are in what we consider Morrison, and there's clearly Cretaceous dinosaurs. So I drove that day when I first hit me that this is Cretaceous. I drove back and forth 5 times between Yellow Cat Road and here, looking at the sequence. Come back here, looking at the sequence.
Just trying to figure out the
We've
geology.
got a lower level, clearly than Utahraptor level, and there's lots of fossils. So I've got prospecting, and basically I thought it was just micro stuff.
Yeah.
And Utahraptor, Gastonia, all that was keeping me real busy, and I worked for Dynamation. I was doing, what paid my salary was not taking dinosaurs.
Sure.
I always, it's the way it is for almost everybody. They're teaching anatomy or geology, and they do paleo inside.
Just plant, right?
There's very few places pay you to dig dinosaurs for an income. Very few. At least particularly in the United States.
Want some more cold water?
Yeah, sure.
Plenty.
Yeah, I definitely.
Hydrate.
Fill it. I'll drink it right down.
What's that? You hook me up. Yeah. I'll hook you up.
But so I came over here, found all these osteoderms, iguanodont teeth, sauropod fragments. Pretty excited. So came back over here after we hired Jennifer, Andrew's site. This was during that phase.
Yeah.
That I made this realization, and that was after I already worked for the state of Utah. So I told Don, we got to come over here and look. We got to find more than just teeth.
Yeah.
This is way too important if we can get a site. And we came in here, and I was working up there, and I found a big polycanthine plate coming out, right by the creek there. So I started excavating, exposing it. It's near the surface, it was real fragile. And Don and Scott had gone out prospecting around the rim. This area, walking on the side, just below the steep stuff.
Yeah.
And they were, like, there's nothing out here.
Right.
They came back, and they're just, like, watching me, watching paint dry as I dig this thing.
Yeah.
Because
they're exploring up on the,
Yeah.
like, you expect to find stuff where there's more topography, not like on the valley floor. Yeah.
So they went back out, and were looking for another hour or so, and I was jacketing and capping this thing. And they come, both of them, about 100 meters apart. We're walking back across the whole basin to where I was working. And Scott saw some bone coming out right over here. And started playing with it, and it's, some sauropod rib stuff. And Don found some bone coming out by the road over there. He was more walking down the road. And they both started playing with their stuff. And at one point, they both decided at the same time, we got to show Kirkland this. There's stuff here. Thank you. And they both stood up at the same time and turned toward each other just randomly, and realized they were both standing on the same level.
It's like a scene out of a movie.
Same side. They found 2 parts of it. The elephant's pretty big. And come back at me. I come over here, and that's we found Yorgovucia right on the surface. I wish we found that digging, because I'm sure there's a skeleton. I'm sure it would have been a lot more.
Sure, if it hadn't been exposed and all weathered
You
and
know, yeah, if we found 20,
blown apart, yeah.
20, 50 years earlier or something.
That could be a scene out of a movie, you know? Hopefully someday it will be.
Dolan's Bowl, the revenge.
Yeah. But, so, you know, we had those sites, and of course, okay, we've got to work here.
Uh-huh.
You know, so we started working here part of the year while we're still doing, you know, Don's Ridge.
What year did you was that you came out here with Don and Scott?
That would have been 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's when we hired Jennifer.
Right.
Yeah, and she was working at Andrew's site.
Right.
We hired her, you know, we found that site, and they're like, well, you gotta, you know, because I was with a UGS group, you know, we found it. You know, because I was teaching them the stratigraphy of the Cedar Mountain for future mapping. And basically, you know, they finally they're all the geologists like, wow, look at this, there's vertebrae, you know, this is really cool. You know, so you guys going to come out here and start digging? I'm going, wow, we got this site, we got this site. You know, we got a lot going on. And say, well, we need to have, you got to hire someone to do this, you know. I said, well, I'd love to, you know. So they let me hire Jennifer, you know, just right out of the blue. And no extra money. There'd been some, it was a good oil and gas year, I guess. They had some extra money in the coffer, and we hired her, and she worked for us for several years. And we, you know, she was with us a week, and we dumped her off at a trailer on Andrew's site. But Selena and Marina had a student come in from India when they were at Trinity, not Trinity, at Temple in Philadelphia, and this kid from India, they talked into coming out and looking at the soils. So he's working with them over on the road and doing section, doing a master's thesis.
Wait a minute, on the road at Andrew's site?
Yellow Cat, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the road.
And that's when I hit the revelation that, hey, this stuff is older, you know, because I was thinking we were on the calcrete on the church.
Right.
The church, the calcrete's slip spot.
Right.
And coming back and forth was like, the calcrete's up above this. You know, just this is older than anything we got. You know, and we already had crystal geysers, so we knew there were things that seemed to be older. Crystal geysers are a lot harder to
Well,
prove.
Calcareous is below the calcrete.
Well, there's what we call the cap rock there,
Oh,
which is a kind of gravelly sand with stromatolites on it.
and that is above.
That's above. That's what I think caps the lower yellow.
Where is the calcrete at the calcareous?
It turns into that before it gets there.
So the cap rock and the calcrete
So
are.
probably equivalent, pretty much.
All right, so calcareous is lower yellow.
Yes.
But the upper parts, the flanks. I think there's 4 dinosaur faunas in the yellow cat. 4.
Which one are we in right now, then?
And I think it may represent 10 million years, where the upper yellow cat maybe represents 1 million years.
One.
Yeah, probably. I'm thinking maybe 2. But it seems we have Ned Colbertia bottom and top. We seem to have Utah raptor and Gastonia burgeye bottom and top.
Huh.
Yeah, so it seems to be the same fauna.
Uh-huh.
Though most of the Utah raptor Gastonia stuff is in the upper part of it. So it's like, you know, Ned Colbertia is mostly in the lower part, but Brooks found an adult in the upper part. But are they the same species as our
Right.
younger stuff?
No,
You know,
it's asking
there's a lot of work. The learning curve is still steep.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
this was
And we
recycled
know we're
just
into a
to recycle.
completely new world for North American paleontology.
So
You know?
this stratum we're working in right now, would this be 1 or 2
This
or
would
3
be,
or
in
4?
my mind, 2.
2. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
one. We've got bones in the ironstone. We'll talk about that when it's a cooler day.
Cool. Okay.
You know, we'll let people see that.
Yeah.
Because that's when the climate was wet and humid,
Uh-huh.
and that seems to characterize the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary out here.
Yeah.
It was very wet.
Just to be succinct about it, is level 1, is that in Dolan's Bowl? Or where is this?
The equivalent, but
Where
the
is it?
bones, the best bones are that I've seen in level 1 are east of Utah Raptor Ridge, and you know, below on the road up to Utah Raptor, you know, walk quarry. Found bone in it there, but
Okay.
they're just more dispersed, you know, so you can't just like mine it. But you know, Ethan was out there with me a few months ago because I wanted to really like double check. You know, is it below the church? It is below the church there. There's no question. And he found a vertebra, and we've got a complete ankylosaur humerus from there, and almost a complete scapula of an iguanodon. So there's stuff, but there's none of them are yet enough to really compare with this stuff.
Right.
But they're in a interval that's clearly lower than this.
Can you get some dates from level 1?
We've already got it. Yeah,
What is
it's
the
up
date?
there, 140 to 142.
Nice.
Yeah, it's whale. It's just about. It's
The lowest level of the Cretaceous is what age?
it's for. Well, I don't believe them really.
Nathan, let me get your
even though I'm on
opinion
the
on this.
paper.
Name of the lowest
This
level
really
of
wants to come
Cretaceous?
It's
loose.
very
Right
easy.
Then another bone next to it.
Invariant.
This
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
absolutely.
So
Something
you're
thin
the
and small.
lowest-
Yeah, we're at the bottom.
So
of the
this
Cretaceous.
really wants to come loose.
Yeah, no, this is the only
But
place
then
in
there's
North America
nothing- there's no
where we
matrix
have
around the-
pretty much
the rest of the
entire
scap.
lower Cretaceous preserved.
My original plan
Pretty
was just
much
to
the only
jacket
place
this
in the
whole
world.
thing,
Well, according to Brooks,
But
it's
it's really
1.6.
gypsum
Yeah,
it,
he'll never
but
change.
I'm kind of wondering about that
Too
now
many
that this wants to
scientists.
come
You know,
off
I'm
in
not
one
doing
solid
it
piece.
thinking. We got professional guys that are some of the best
You know?
in the country doing that. You know, I mean, I was following Brooks. His dates were just wrong, and it wasn't like he was personally doing them.
Like
He
I
was
hate
signing them off.
undercutting something like that.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
lab
really
was not
nervous.
doing as good a
I
job.
didn't realize how deep
So,
that
you
went,
know,
actually. I
yeah.
wouldn't have done that.
But
if
you know, Brooks had what we call black box.
Yeah.
It's like it's,
Yeah.
it's pretty
You
glued
know,
up,
this
looks
is
like.
just-
Yeah.
You know, I was going with it.
Shovel something
Yeah,
in.
the Ostracod guys.
I could
were telling
maybe
us
even just-
this stuff was Valentinian.
If we wanted to get really
Variasian
crazy
for a
about it, we could
decade.
even just pop this
I
without
said,
jacketing
the
it.
Ostracod, you know,
I
compared
think
to
what
Europe.
you honestly
Are they
you
really
could
that
jacket
age?
it with, you could gypsum these
You know,
together.
and I was pretty literate.
I don't think that would be very problematic, to be honest.
Says, you know,
Okay.
it's
You do a few layers,
probably right.
Yeah.
You know,
that was my
Brooks
original
put it
plan.
in
Let
the
'em dry.
Appian, but it's just
like
time
even after I've
consuming.
taken it out, I think it's
The
possible.
number did.
Yeah, I think so
124.
too.
Cool.
124 is
Sorry
in
about
the
that. No worries.
Baronian
A
now.
little sketchy there.
When Brooks first declared it, it was considered
Yeah.
the lower part of the
And then I
Appian.
got this guy who just popped up too, and I
Oh,
don't
fun.
because
Wait a
they're
minute, wait a minute.
no idea what that is, but
That's fun.
it just looks.
The 124
looks tumbled and
million years
weathered.
ago is Baramian?
Could be.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if maybe I can
Yeah.
take this out, just pop it.
but
Yeah.
But we'll see.
yeah, the new time scale, 124 is early Appian.
But in the old days, it was Baramian,
Yeah.
not
And Dr. Java,
Are
toilet
you
paper
in the-
underneath is probably not a great idea because that'll just create
Actually,
an
we
air
can
pocket
show
down
you
there.
the-
I'm gonna
the
want
1923
the jacket to
International
cling to
Time
that
Scale.
as much as possible.
your 140,
But I like where your head's at.
1.2 million years ago
Yeah.
for level one.
Yeah, this is probably
You could
140.
also
Variation.
Yeah, variation.
you could just
Yeah,
put a little bit
Baramian
of thick
is-
glue
I'll get
on
those too
the
confused.
rock.
Yeah, because they
But
both
just
start with
get
B,
these
yeah.
to adhere.
VE.
Yeah.
But then I'd have glue on the bone.
But I mean, maybe like
Baramian.
along
Which
here
that
or
animal
on the other
is probably
side.
Baramian.
Yeah.
Maybe not along here, but
I
just
guess so.
or in the body.
So it's
I've
at
got
the
some
end
extra
of the
thick right here.
Wealden style faunas.
Right, before
And at the near the base of the
Let's try that.
Appian, we have another mass extinction, and we shift in North America from Wealden style faunas like they have in England and whatnot to Cloverleaf style faunas, and then they range for another 20 million years.
until what?
The end of the Albian.
Into the Albion.
Yeah, and then we get the
Well, wait a
muscle
minute,
touch it
when are
fauna
you getting the Asian influence?
at the base of the muscle touch at the end of the early Cretaceous.
In the Albion?
And at the end of the Albion, the beginning of the Cenomanian.
That's when you're getting the Asian influence.
Yeah, that's when they definitely do have a connection. And animals just stroll it on over. And animals are probably going both ways. You know, good land connection. And it's probably the last time we had a land connection for a long time to the East Coast. So if you look at Appalachia, you know, the mustn't-touch-it fauna is probably the last fauna that had a very good, you know.
Noah wants to get a close-up of this? Sure, I can show you.
And it mustn't.
Yeah.
So what is Astrodon?
Yeah.
Where is that from?
That's from the Albion.
So this
So
is what I've been working on for most of
Like
today.
upper
This is a little scapula, it looks like. Maybe from a small iguanodontian. Probably juvenile.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure what this little bone is here. That's
maybe the one
a troublesome one. I've been trying to touch that
Yeah, the Albion's
as
like
little as
10 or
possible.
12 million years by itself.
But that could be a bit of a
Big
skull bone
stage.
or something like that,
You know,
potentially.
probably it may be the
And
longest
so I'm
stage in the
trenching
Cretaceous.
around this so I can put a
Campanian's
jacket over the
long,
top.
I think Albion might be even longer. You know, these
Yeah,
numbers are
and-
totally arbitrary. You know,
I don't know if I'll be able to get this out today, but I'll be able to top jacket it at least, I think. I just got to dig that trench a little bit deeper.
yeah,
It'll be a nice insurance policy to make sure it flips well. Doesn't spill at the bottom.
fucking loads of money just to do radiometric dating
Well, we can pay $2,500 for one
for one date. Yeah.
UFOP if everybody contributes.
Well, if we do a UFOP, you know the date I would like to get
Lately. Hey, welcome.
is
Good to
my
have you
date
here.
in the Tidwell.
Thanks for joining us.
From Capitol Reef,
Yeah.
which I think will
What-
date
what
firmly
animal?
the age of the base of the Morrison.
What animal do you have from the Tidwell?
Tidwell, Dystrophius, the stuff John's been
So
digging.
you're interested in Dystrophius?
Well, I'm interested,
and
you know,
the Tidwell.
All right,
because
Todd General,
the
thanks for
date-
being here.
Mark
I'll see you around.
Koalas's ash is a bleached out Somerville bed underneath the what's called bed A, the unconformity at the top of the Somerville. You know, and the students called it bleached green, you know, because it's a coarse root, you know, thing with water in it above. You know, they thought it was an ash. And you can pull zircons out of anything.
You're indestructible.
Yeah, I got them out of dolomite, out of carbonate. I thought it was like, because it didn't fizz, I thought it was, you know, right off the top, it was stupid. You know, because you scratch it, it'll fizz, the powder, you know. But I go, man, maybe it's a solidified ash. So I sent it off for a, to try to zircon laser ablation date. And they came back with 112, 113 million. The final date within a meter of it,
Where was this from?
lower part of Lake Carpenter.
So
The track level.
Never,
Hey, you know the track bed at Mill Canyon?
yeah.
That bed.
And that is at the Aptian-Albion boundary?
It's Aptian.
It is
Middle Aptian.
Middle Aptian.
Yeah. And we got an ash a few meters above it where we got really good ash. That's, you know, a approximate age.
Yeah.
We got an ash this thick that we're publishing right now. That's 115.95 million.
Invincible.
plus
Welcome
or
to
minus
Paleontologizing.
160,000.
It's good to have you here.
From Lake Carpenter.
Lake Carpenter.
Let me
Big
know if you
ash.
got any questions.
About 1.5 meters above the trackside.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's mid-Appian. I mean, that's getting quote into the upper Appian.
Is there something called the
And that's the best date in the Cedar Mountain anyway, except for maybe.
plus or minus 160,000?
Yeah, that's a really good date.
So is there something that I heard about in the mid-Aptian called like mid-Aptian?
Notice is that quite narrow for a scapula
Yeah.
compared to other animals?
Lower-
It's narrow?
What is it?
You have the Okajava plateau basalts in the
I don't
southwest
know. It's not
Pacific.
typical for a dinosaur.
That I brought with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Mammal
probably
scapulas
the
tend to be
bigger than
shorter
Siberian traps.
and broader.
Wow.
Biggest blood basalt episode we ever
Is
recorded.
that fair to say, Fisher?
It happened then.
Mammal
It
scapula
caused
would be
temperature
shorter and
plummet
broader than a
globally.
dinosaur's on average?
Drill cores in
Yeah,
the
and they
ocean,
also
or how do they
have
know
the
about
spine.
it?
Oh, it's
Scapula
yeah. There's they
more
drill down. There's
than
miles
Yeah,
of
yeah.
basalt. It's a
Right,
plateau.
but you're not going to see it on the surface. You have to
No.
drill.
Well, you can do it with sonar. It's a
Fisher's
giant
our
submarine
resident mammal guy
plateau
here, so.
that
I'm starting to
would be
wonder
a
if that's the
continent
scapula.
bigger
It's
than
really thick at
Greenland
the distal
if
end.
it was exposed.
Over here?
Yeah,
you
that
know.
looked like the distal end.
You know, so if you have a big ice age,
proximal
it
end
might
to
be
me,
exposed.
and it's looking way
You
fatter.
know, it's
than
not that
the-
deep. It's deep. But it's a giant submarine plateau that is totally made of basalt
And
from
what,
some major fissure flows.
what is the event called? Mid-Aptian what?
That could be something.
The Oho
that surface
Javan.
right there is like actual
Event.
cortical bone.
Yeah,
on this
Ben.
side.
You know, I
I
don't
would
work on
treat
that
that as a
stuff.
good
Okay,
you
so
know.
that,
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
like a nuclear
I can't even
waste.
pronounce the name
Yeah, I'm
properly.
not sure
That-
what
that's,
it is. Maybe I could-
that's a global winter, right?
it's parse.
Yeah, it's a global signal. The
But
Aptian
it's probably
cool
like
down, yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the.
But I
this is
think the
your-
extinction
I
might
thought
happen
you
before
over there.
it.
This
But
is
it might
the-
be that
yeah,
that's
that's
not
a-
called,
that's a legit
that
bone.
event's not calibrated as well too. You know, there's the fine
I got more
tuning.
there.
You know, the end
That's
of the
biostratigraphy. It's all about
yeah,
fine-tuning.
the end of the Jurassic might happen. Actually, the big extinction. You know, we killed off the entire Morrison biota.
Yeah,
You know, and replaced it with this stuff, which
separation's
is
not
very
ideal, but
different.
it's a good bone. Yeah,
That could happen in the lower part of the Berriasian. You know, it might not happen where we put the pin for the Jurassic, you know, boundary, because the original pin was put on an unconformity, because there's an unconformity almost everywhere in the world at the end of the Jurassic. And what caused that global unconformity may be tied to why there's a mass extinction. You know, but we don't know. You know, we know a lot
So
more.
there is a mid-Aptian mass extinction.
Yeah, at least in North America, it wasn't as severe in Europe, but there are important things that go out in Europe. And there's rudous reef cats that have been extinct then. So I know, you know, they tie it to the marine.
Yeah. That's always important.
But exactly, you know, that in the basal Aptian, is it in the uppermost Birimian? Well, Birimian in Europe has wheeled and climb, you know, to the top.
Okay.
But if anything, it could maybe be in the basal Aptian where that happens. You know, there's a lot to learn. You know, we're just figuring out some of the questions now. It's not like,
Jim,
you
you're
know,
running out of time. You better get
I'm
it done.
I wish I could live another 100 years. I think we'll know some neat things. But, you know, my biggest contribution is I've figured out there's a lot of questions that we actually could maybe get answers for eventually.
Right.
You know, and that's what makes science fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here's a question. How would I approach this?
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things for the Jurassic Cretaceous boundary, Iberian Peninsula in Spain and Utah. You know, for the Northern Hemisphere, that's where you study it. Because even in China, the record across that boundary is, you know.
Where in Spain?
Well, in Portugal too, Iberian Peninsula.
The whole peninsula.
Yeah, they latest Jurassic, and it might go into the base of the Berriasian. And they have Diplodocids, they got Ceratosaurus, they got Allosaurus, they got Torvosaurus, you know, Stegosaurus proper, as well as Mirangaya. And now they might have Mirangaya up in Wyoming. So it's like, it's a Morrison fauna. And their stuff is all Tithonian, and we have almost no Tithonian in North America.
What about their early Cretaceous in Iberian Peninsula?
They got Barremian. You know, with me, is we have the best basal Cretaceous on the planet, in my mind. This stuff here, this quarry, and Lowen's like, Jim, do you know how important that site is?
What,
I go,
this site?
yes, this site. You know, Lowen's like incredulous. It's like, yeah, but you're getting different animals. You guys keep going, what were you guys going to find? I said, we don't know. We need to figure out how to keep this going.
He's talking about this site.
Yeah.
Lowen's Bowl.
Yeah. Because, you know, now we know we have a new giant Therizinosaur.
Wasting our time here.
Does he want to work on the papers?
He wants to be the, you know.
He wants to be the dude.
He wants to have the keys to the car.
Yeah, nice.
And he's not getting the keys to the car.
He's a very young teenager.
You know, and I appreciate wanting the keys to the car, but I got the keys to the car. And I'm not giving them to you, Mark.
Live from New York.
I pretty much know who I want to give them to for the Raptors. You know, that's James Napoli.
Napoli?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Well, he's working with Lindsey now doing a postdoc on the Tyrannosaur, the dueling dinosaurs.
Where's that
But
from?
he did his PhD at the American Museum working on velociraptorines.
Where's the dueling dinosaurs from?
Lance formation.
Montana.
Yeah.
Oh, Montana.
Which part of Montana?
Northeast Montana near Fort Peck Lake, probably.
Lance Creek?
Hell Creek Formation.
Hell Creek in Northeast.
But it's a really cool site.
Hell Creek Formation in eastern
But
Montana.
in the east, that's where Lance Creek is.
Lance is only in Wyoming.
It's in Wyoming only.
Oh,
not Montana.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
But they're the same thing though, essentially though.
Lancian.
The people are the same, and they have the same politics.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Same. It's all
I
big
didn't say
countries.
anything. I
But
said nothing, Colonel Clink.
they're going to start a big fight, I have a feeling, from what I'm hearing. It'll be fun to watch from the distance. I just won't. I don't want to work in that stuff. There's way too many cooks in that pot. Way too many. I mean, there's barely anybody. I'm wishing we had more people, and more people to talk to each other. You know.
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That's Rodney King, the motorist from Los Angeles in 1990.
Yeah, I know
Can't
that.
we all just get along?
He was the first guy to say that?
Yeah.
Is that really a Rodney King quote?
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
absolutely. They interviewed
After
him,
the
and it's
riots,
like,
they
Can't we all just
interviewed
get
him,
along?
And he said, I don't understand.
you know,
all
during the
this."
riots.
The big
I was
riots.
there for the riots.
I was there for the riots.
Yeah.
Why were you there for the riots?
For Dynamation. I was
Where?
at meetings.
The Dynamation riots?
What?
Where were you at?
Just south of the main area of the riots.
I was working.
We could see look like an
all
atomic bomb.
if you panned, the TV camera would pan, you would see fires on every horizon.
Yeah, and it looked like, when you look at the smoke cloud coming up, it looked like an atomic bomb had gone off. It was a big deal.
They showed pictures of fire engines going at full bore past burning buildings.
Yeah.
They have
No, I was sitting in a hotel room with my boss.
Which hotel?
I don't know.
It wasn't the.
Hampton Inn, I
It wasn't
think.
the Bonaventure though.
I have no
The
freaking clue.
Bonaventure is where we had the SVP.
You don't remember what hotel you stayed in 1993?
If you stayed,
I don't give a dang about hotels.
If you stayed
Go
in
to bed, and I hated
if you
the
stayed in
pillows.
Bonaventure, you would know it.
Yeah.
It's famous. It's in
Oh,
the
I've stayed there before.
SVP.
Yeah.
Important.
But
important stuff.
it wasn't in downtown LA.
Step out, man.
We were down south Vallejo, or no, we were in Vallejo.
You were in
Well, Vallejo's in Northern California.
We were.
Where?
Where was their headquarters then? They had it in 3 different
Was it
places.
Orange County?
Yeah, north end of Orange
You
County.
had Dynamation. You had the thing at Marine World, Africa, USA, in Vallejo, right?
Yeah, that's when I did.
I went there for the opening when I was a kid. It was
yeah?
like 1995 or something.
Is this in
Yeah, I did all the morning shows and stuff there.
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that we
You
met
watched
at
me?
that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
or like because you were probably there for the grand opening, right?
Oh yeah, I was talking about raptors, and they were walking cheetahs off stage with me,
Uh-huh.
and they had me a falcon fly down and land on my shoulder while I was talking about feathered
That's a
dinosaurs.
Seinfeld episode.
That was hysterical. You know, got to swim with a killer whale. You know, like
You
Jack.
did?
When I heard Jack,
Can you tell that story, Jim?
what? Well, Jack Horner did it. They told me about it. Oh, Jack wanted to swim with a killer whale. And I wanted to swim with the sawfish because I was working on describing some fossil sawfish. But they said it's really easier to let you go down and with the whale because, you know, people generally aren't jumping in the shark tank that often.
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't have been a problem, you know, the sharks are well fed.
But so you got to swim with...
The killer, I don't remember its name, but just for a little bit.
We only had one.
Yeah.
It was a
Was that your-
I think
one
it
night
was
swim?
one.
Was that your
Killer
payment
whales,
for it,
yeah.
or...
But I was only with anywhere around with one whale. I got the pet. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to pet it?
You know, it was just,
Above water? It was above water?
well, I got in the water. I wasn't like free swimming around in the thing with them.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was
You
sitting like
stepped
on the
down a little
steps.
bit.
Yeah, I was sitting on the steps.
All right.
You know, my butt was wet. Yeah. I think Jack Horner actually got to like totally swim with him.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he-
You know, about 6 months earlier or something.
He asked that for that instead of payment or something like that?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I wanted to do this, and I just, you know, they were just, and I was there for like 5 days. You know, so it was, you know, they did all kinds of stuff with me.
I used to go there when I was a kid. That was
Yeah,
it's a big part of my childhood was Marine World, Africa, USA.
yeah, I know, it's crazy, but
Yeah.
it's such a weird place because it's kind of a, you know, a petting zoo.
Danny, is that just east of Berkeley?
East and north, yeah.
Northeast of Berkeley? Okay. Marine World, Africa.
But now it's Six
USA.
Flags,
USA.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's called now.
Okay.
Yeah. They got bought by Six Flags, and it's mostly
All right,
roller coasters
changed.
now, I think. Yeah.
That was a fun, bizarre experience. You know, I gave a talk up in what's the town in Maine? So where they shot the TV show Peyton Place.
Really?
Oh, what was it? It's a famous
Isn't
resort.
that in Los Angeles?
No,
Where would they show it?
they shot the build
Oh,
the
the-
house and stuff
The
was on
movie.
Maine.
Movie.
Yeah,
Is my eye all swelled up
and
right now?
anyway, and it was set in Maine. You know, that's
Feels
where
weird.
it's supposed
Okay,
to
but that's
be.
the movie,
look
not
weird?
the
Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
good.
the building
It looked
they
like
show,
yesterday your right eye was a little
you know, the house.
Yeah, it's like down here. Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully it's gone down.
But that was
Full
up
of
in
dust.
Maine. I went, you know, they took me like, this
It's
Peyton
the
Place
Peyton
house.
Place house.
They took me out to watch puffins on some islands off the shore, and
Oh,
Yeah.
you're done with that?
the folks
Very
from the
nice.
zoo,
Let's take a
you
look.
know, not zoo, library there. They had me there. Yeah, they had me at a bed and breakfast there for 3 days. I only was doing a morning thing with the kids and then a talk,
how that feels.
and they kept me like 2 extra days. And we want you to experience Camden, Maine.
Like dig a little bit deeper,
No,
and then
it's sad. I wish
like-
you would have liked it.
kind of a mushroom stock.
They treated me really well.
Yeah,
Got to
yeah.
eat some very good
Well, the other
lobster.
place that treated you
This
very
goes-
well was like
you know,
down
you've got a
near
lot of height to this, which
Acapulco
is
or
good.
something?
Oh yeah, working with
I think it should be an
animatronics.
easy flip,
Yeah.
but just
Oh,
undercut it a little bit.
Business trip to
And then dig
Acapulco?
in.
Well, they
Kind of a little
flew
plastic.
my whole family
Some of this
down
should be super
during the
tasty.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Ah,
You know,
Nicely done.
because I, you know, oh man, I don't want to hang out in Salt Lake during the Olympics. I mean, it's gonna be chaos. So I went down to Acapulco. Well, I was in Mexico City, most of them. We went down to Acapulco for a couple
got
of
a
well,
days.
you
read
told me
here?
about...
Let's see.
But Kelsey got to get a sailfish,
Yeah.
and Sue's got a sailfish.
Oh,
and I
caught it?
Caught him. Yeah, we went out
And
deep
you
sea fishing.
neuroscience. Hey,
You
thank
said that
you
you sampled some really good tequila.
for the raid. Welcome to Paleontologist.
No, that was the Sabinas,
It's good to have you here.
northern Mexico.
Like near Cojillo?
It was in Coelho, but northern part of the province.
So you were down there working?
Yeah, just working on the Dinosaurs. You know, which we're actually working with Nick Longford right now on a paper tied to that. Naming the what was it? Don Ramon's hadrosaur, a new genus or new species at least. And I've been to that site in the '90s. It's just amazing how you do stuff decades earlier, and all of a sudden, oh, we want you to be a co-author on this paper, and you measured a section, didn't you? I said, yeah, I did.
You still have it?
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's okay.
yeah. I have file cabinets full of stuff from my whole career. You know?
Well, Martha uses soda flats. That's where she keeps all her stuff.
Yeah,
That's her filing system.
but yeah, no.
Vertical filing.
Acapulco was fun because I slept through an earthquake.
What,
That was
what
pretty
magnitude?
pretty good. I don't remember.
6?
But it buckled. We were on the 10th floor of this, the tallest building in Acapulco. He had the entire top floor. You know, he's a rich guy. And all the tiles, these beautiful ceramic tiles in the kitchen, all broke.
Yeah.
You know, bent and
Yeah.
cracked. Slept through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Suze, the kids, they all woke up for it. You know, everybody in the place. And I didn't even know about it till the next day. How did I miss a major earthquake where the whole building's rocking?
I was in LA, and they always seem to happen in the morning, and I was in the bathroom shaving, and I can see both sides of my face when I shave.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
good.
water was sloshing in the sink because it's tuned to that frequency. They have swimming pool pictures of the whole swimming pool being emptied.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good one.
Somebody was asking about
Yeah, this
closed
is an
captions.
interesting looking bone.
You probably wouldn't want closed captions
you
to
got
be
some nice
working
stuff
on
going
these
there, Jim.
mobile
Yeah,
streams
got a
like
rib
this,
over
because we
here.
might have 3
Where's the
people
rib?
talking
Got
at
a
once. It would
vertebra
just be
here.
Pointed stuff.
There's a rib.
yeah,
With your
it would be
pencil.
awful.
Rib.
But
Rib.
if you really
Rib
want to
bone.
try, you can.
Vertebra, probably.
I think there is a Chrome extension that you can
Nice.
use for closed captioning on Twitch. So you should
Here,
look
I'll
into that
fill
if
up
you really
again.
need
We're
it.
going to be here another half hour, I think.
Yeah.
I guess we're not doing Utah Raptor today.
Yeah, I thought you said that was.
Yeah. Do you want to do that right now? We've got a bunch of people watching, Jim. And
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna do it, we
We got a
need
half
to.
hour.
I've got everything here.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
wanna keep it in the sun for days.
Yeah. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to like devote most of a stream to that? Because we can definitely do that. I'm going to be streaming almost every day, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be gone for a couple days in the Manco.
Uh-huh.
It's just-
Maybe I'll do
Yeah,
it now.
yeah, I would do something now, and
And maybe there'll be some
yeah,
follow-up.
maybe we can pull stuff out again later.
Sure.
know.
Yeah. Let's talk about Utah Raptor now, if you want. That'd be great.
Okay, we'll try to glue
Let
this
me get
bird a
Jim
little
full
bit.
drink.
Little bit of hardener, since I found some real fossils.
Do you have any thick glue back there?
Very thick.
Sweet.
The thickest.
Now, I always look when you're bringing stuff out in the field. The longer it's in the field, the more chances that bad things will happen to it.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Here's a cold one, Jim.
okay. Yeah, this is good.
I'm going to get some cold water as
Check it
well.
out, guys. I think this is a vertebra.
Hope it's skull piece.
Centrum and then transverse
Yeah.
process
It
right
could be
underneath
the skull you're on.
right next to the limbo.
Yeah, the
It's beautiful.
quadrate.
Yeah.
Quadrate. It's Danny. I got to tip it. It's just let me get my.
Oh, sure. And it's kind of an annoying spot for it, though.
Maybe I
Well,
got
it's
four.
it's close enough that it can go in the same jacket, so
Yeah.
it's all right. It's a pretty good spot.
I should have brought more. Jim's like, don't bring a
Yeah.
full one. Don't
This has got to be a little vertebra.
And we're gonna go fill every one of those water things today.
Yeah.
And get ice.
But it's going to be a pretty good one.
This is just really nice.
Right. Where's the big one flat?
And good.
That's why I used to.
Hank
when I was
vertebra,
in
always the
Boston,
best.
I paid $3.50, I get mad at ice water for
Thank you.
A few things.
Uh-huh.
you know, that girl suffered in the beginning.
Where's the big metal shim? Is it over?
Yeah. There it is.
Huh. That could be from Paleo Tools. No, Paleo... Geotools. Geotools makes shims. Paleo Tools makes air.
Yeah, I know. I want some more. The big shims vanished. I don't know if someone stole them.
Were they the ones made out of car...
The same as these,
yeah, car springs?
except they were big leaf springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big leaf springs.
And they were, I had some 4-footers.
Nicely done.
Yeah. I had some 4-footers
Awesome,
and
Justin.
5-footers.
You are the man,
And they're for going under big jackets, and
Oh, yeah.
they vanished.
Oh shoot.
I mean, it's like, what the hell?
What year was
Yeah.
that?
Oh, 15 years ago now.
Oh okay.
You know, but having shims that are that size, that are blades,
Uh-huh.
priceless. I mean, they were custom made for me. And it's like, I don't think we have any of them anymore.
We could find some old leaf springs and grind them down.
Yeah?
Yeah, we could take care
I
of
mean,
that.
these were flat, though. These weren't bent yet.
Yeah.
You know, they're real
Yeah.
thin. They were, no, what they were,
This is the end,
were
my
industrial bandsaw blade of some sort.
Huh.
They were like this wide,
Uh-huh.
like the same material as these,
Yeah.
you know, except, they were long.
Yeah.
And we had they were a little wider, but the same stuff. Really good steel.
You ready to start talking about Utah Raptor?
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
Harden. Actually, I should glue the big one too.
Grab my
Give him a minute
Yeah, yeah.
to clean up his...
Here, let me
clean up his
do a
clothes.
station break, like they do on the radio.
You want to check the temperature, Danny? I'm sure it's like about 98 or 95.
Yeah? Maybe in a minute.
That would make it feel so
Why
much
do you
cooler.
want to know?
Yeah.
What is
Anyway, if anybody's just joined us recently, welcome to Paleontologizing. And if you haven't just joined us recently, thanks for sticking around. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm working out here in eastern Utah with the Utah Geological Survey crew. And we're digging up some dinosaurs in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation. This is rock's about 140 million years old. about twice as old as like Triceratops or Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, and a little bit older than Utahraptor also. Jim Kirkland, the state paleontologist for the great state of Utah, he named Utahraptor. I know we've got some Utahraptor enthusiasts in chat, so we're going to do some talking about Utahraptor right now, and he's got some claws that he's brought with him. So, yeah. Good stuff. And are you actually digging out a dinosaur? Several dinosaurs, Yox? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's what this is all about. Anyway, let's...
I don't need a hinge. My knee's okay. It's the connective tissue. My tendons, my fourth quad, ripped.
Maybe that's
It's all...
Can they replace it? Can they get rid of that
They
stuff?
can't... They don't get rid of it. My knee wouldn't work anymore.
Okay,
This is all the things that make it mechanically work.
All right.
It is not... it's not arthritis.
It's not the structural elements.
It's different. I should have had surgery 20 years ago on one, and 15 years ago on the other.
Go stand over there.
For it.
Here, I'm going to go around the corner here and go where Phil was just standing.
Figure out where you want to sit.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's go like this.
All right. Any bone exposed?
That keeps it pretty simple.
Any tricks there?
Yeah, one that small, you don't have to bother.
So I would.
Yeah.
You don't need to put any paper towel on that side. Just take another layer of gypsum and cover it, and you're good to go. Okay.
Let's see.
Yep.
All right.
Comfortable
Nobody knock
seat.
over the camera there.
Yeah, hi, folks. Watching an old man moving.
All right.
And the doctors tell me I can't replace my knees to make it better.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know him, this is Dr. Jim Kirkland, the state paleontologist for the state of Utah. And yeah, Jim, did you just name and describe Utahraptor, or did you discover it as well? What's the...
Well, I discovered the first bones at the Gaston Quarry.
Gotcha. So you're co-discoverer, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, there were things that just no one knew about.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and there's probably pieces that are in private collections that we don't know about still.
Right, yeah.
You know, I mean, the stuff I discovered at BYU, had a drawer of pieces, and it was like theropod indeterminate. And it was determinate, you know, because it's like, this is Utahraptor.
So people had been digging up
It's
pieces of this
it's
thing for a long time.
animal.
Yeah,
But, let's see, I got this one.
nice.
Let me open
So
this
Jim very kindly brought along some props from Salt Lake.
Yeah, okay, there's nothing there, but important stuff for our discussion.
By the way, Dan, thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thank you, Phil,
For the idea.
for the idea. I appreciate it, Phil.
And that is not, Deinonychus, but I know this is.
Nice.
This is a cheap cast
Yeah,
of Yale's type specimen of Deinonychus.
right. So this is the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park.
And
This critter here.
the third dromaeosaur ever described.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Dromaeosaurus, Velociraptor, Deinonychus.
yeah. As the first two are Dromaeosaurus, then Velociraptor, then Deinonychus. And Deinonychus is quite a bit bigger, because if you want to see,
Let's bring the camera closer, actually. That'll be good.
a Velociraptor, there's a claw of Velociraptor. For Deinonychus.
Is that a Rob Gaston cast right there?
Yeah, that's
Nice.
from a good Mongolian Velociraptor.
That's beautiful. It's so complete and smooth.
Oh yeah, they got
Yeah.
beautiful complete sky. They have the most molds of the best preserved Velociraptorine skull ever found. You know, it's just an incredible thing. But here's Deinonychus, quite a bit bigger. One of the things that's really characteristic of these guys is the asymmetric blood groove.
Yeah.
You know, you have to supply the blood to the tissues growing the claw. And, you know, what is this? This is not a claw.
That's the ungule.
These are the unguals. We all have 20 of them. It's the bone under our fingernails. That's, our unguals.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got here. You have fossil unguals. But that blood vessel that goes down the claws.
Yeah. Can I show that to the camera nice and close?
Asymmetric.
Yeah.
Show them both, because they're very different looking claws. But
Velociraptor right here.
And show both sides
There's
where that blood groove is.
Blood groove there on this side, and then on the other side. So they're not going, they don't match. They're asymmetrical. So on this side, it goes way up toward the top, and then on this side, it's more toward the middle, like the midline, laterally of the claw right there.
But if you look at the articulation on both of them, it is symmetrical.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, why is that asymmetrical? And when I was with Dynamation International working on robots, and we were starting to talk about Utahraptor and things about it, one of the artists, said, why are they asymmetrical? And you notice how thin side to side these claws are. In this part of the claw, on most theropods, it's as wide as it is deep. And the grooves are symmetrical. In fact, let's look at Allosaurus. Here's an Allosaurus I dug up some years ago. And if you look at the blood vessel on that side there, and this side here, it's symmetrical.
Right.
And look how broad the base is.
Yeah.
I mean, when we reconstruct the sheath of the claw proper, this is the ungual, here's the claw reconstruction.
That's the keratin over the top,
It's like a bear claw. And you look at this wide base, it probably had a double carina, like you see on most normal big claws. And this would, Allosaurus, this is a thumb claw, would rake through and cause some serious damage. But it's not a knife in any sense of the word.
More like a hook, I would imagine it as, for grasping.
And, this probably added strength, but this double carina is very prevalent in mammals, too. But claw, ungual, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But why are they asymmetrical, the blood groove?
I would imagine if they're using it to hook into prey, this is my guess, that, it's going toward the sagittal plane. So, you're kind of going inward, or maybe outward.
It has nothing to do with biomechanics.
Okay.
Remember, it's completely covered by the keratin. No muscles attached anywhere near that.
Yeah.
So why would that be asymmetrical in these?
I don't know.
Is it just breaking?
We're working with an artist, because artists notice things that paleontologists don't always notice.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for paleo artists. I don't always agree with them, but I have a lot of respect for them. But you look at this and you say, okay, it's flat. The groove's in different positions. The artist goes, well, it's structural. If the claw was symmetrical, you'd have this real weak spot because it would come so close together.
Sure.
At the center of the claw.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so by displacing
it would be bowed
instead
inward like
instead
that.
of having this point where it would break easy,
you've
got this, and it makes real sense. And I note in the paper I describe Utahraptor that this guy figured this out, and I agree with him. I think it explains it.
Maybe the smaller the claw is, the more you have to have those displaced in order to help prevent it from breaking, because it's
But basically,
so Allosaurus wouldn't have to worry about that because the claw itself is already pretty thick.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. It's just you say the mouth of babes. This is a sharp guy. This paleo artist had a lot of skills. But anyway, when we first were working on the Gaston Quarry across the way at the first site we had in this side of the Paradox Basin, Cedar Mountain, that we worked. BYU had been working Dalton Wells for 30 years. Before that, as we're digging, I found part of a theropod jaw.
Sure.
Exciting, and I'm working on it, and there's some ribs, and there's a tibia of the theropod right there. And this guy starts calling over to me, Jim, I think I've got a weird-looking cervical rib. And this is all limestone, it's real hard quarry to work.
Yeah.
It's hard on your knees and everything else.
Dalton Wells, Jim?
No, this is the Gaston Quarry. Yeah, it's all bases, total limestone. And, half a meter thick or more. Real hard unit, And basically, he finally goes, you really should take a look at it. And I came over and looked down, and I could see about that much of this thing.
That's not a cervical rib.
And clearly, discovery mark at the tip. And I'm like, oh, look at that groove. And then I lay my head down on the rocks to see this, because you got it coming around. I'm like, that's a dromaeosaur claw of some sort.
It's huge.
And I only could see this much of it at the time. I said, Carl, we got to see the rest of this. That's coming with us. This is our last day.
Okay.
That first season.
Yeah.
We got to get this out of the quarry. So, boom, uncovers this, and it's like, that's twice the size of Deinonychus.
Easily. Yeah.
And Don Burge and, guys, because I had the Cloverleaf book with me, because John Ostrom was being very helpful, as always.
Yeah.
And he sent it to me because I'm working on Ankylosaurs in the early Cretaceous, and it describes Sauropelta. But he had a picture of the claw of Deinonychus. And, here's Deinonychus. There's a scale on the claw, and I'm going, look, it's twice the size. And then you guys, no, that's probably the scale's wrong. This is a Deinonychus. Has to be. It's early Cretaceous. All early Cretaceous dromaeosaurs in North America have to be Deinonychus. Well, I don't think so. I think this is a big thing. So a week later, San Diego, went to the SVP meeting, Society of Vertebrate Paleo meeting, and I go to the back door, and there's Bob Bacher.
Yeah.
Sitting, holding court with his acolytes, sitting up on a table, and everybody's around him. It was a classic Bacher scene. And I hand this cast, to Bob, and he looks at it, rolling his mustache a bit. Junk. Hands it back to me. Just junk. And I'm like, Bob, I think this is a giant dromaeosaur, sickle claw. And he gets it again, looks at it. It's just a crushed Torvosaurus claw. And Torvosaurus claw in outline is almost identical, except it's equal thickness.
The sulcus would be a little bigger, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's not thick. I mean it's like an allosaur claw, but in side view it's almost identical in form. But it's a big, thick mantis claw, from a meat-eating dinosaur. So I'm going, I'm going to go show John Ostrom. So I go on in, and Jim Madsen, the first day paleontologist, sitting there talking to John Ostrom. And I hand this to John, and I think Madsen had warned him that I had this thing or something, because he just takes it. And you know how big you put the sheath on that thing, and it would have been like this long, and that thing and he just starts swinging this thing around, and and I was feeling very vindicated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Swinging this. I mean, he really was. He's like, oh man, that would be great. He's just going for it. But it was vindication. And of course, John made sure immediately when he got back to Yale, he sent me the Deinonychus monograph.
Nice.
He said, you need this, but you've got something new there, I think. And, it's with a polycanthine, not a nodosaur. So I got pretty excited about that. Working the site. This is on camera. Found this claw, probably the other side of the same animal. It's not as good a cast, because this should be better done.
And that's also from the gas report?
Yeah. It's probably the other claw, but one of the things, look at the difference. This is probably left and rights from the same animal. It's pretty remarkable, how different they are in overall curvature and morphology. And Deinonychus, same way. There's Deinonychus claws that are almost straight. As well as ones that are deeply hooked.
That's why you can't name new taxa based on claw morphology.
The claw. And, I bring that cast with me to the Hollywood Dinosaur Club meeting, because Dynamation's based out of California. And I'm passing this cast around the room, and this guy goes, that's pretty neat, and pulls this out of his coat. Says, take a look at this, and hands it to me, and I'm looking at it, going, this isn't real. What is this? And he goes, that's Spielberg's raptor. And it's the first I'd heard they're making it big. And looking at it and going, well, it's biologically not even a proper curve. It's just like no animal has a claw that curves like that. And the texture is more like a ram's horn. It's supposed to be light. There's supposed to be keratin going over it. Look how thick. Look at how short and narrow that cutting edge is. And that's the one in the movie. Even in Jurassic World, there's a point where they have it tapping on the table. My claw! There it is! That's close up. But that's the one from Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Here's the bone. But, we're looking at this, and it's like, okay, well, that's a bone, and they're about the same size. What would it look like if you did put the sheath over it? And knowing what I knew about allosaurs and things, let's reconstruct it. And let's be conservative scientists. We know it could be 50% longer than the young bull. On many birds it is. And just match it up and make it like we think it is. As you see, this is how we reconstruct the sheep. This is art of interpretation. This is science. And even though it's a cast, it's pretty accurate to the real thing. which is in a museum. They keep it. Well, it's on exhibit, but they used to keep it in a safe because they were so afraid.
Jeez.
It was so famous.
This is at BYU?
No, this is at Prehistoric Museum of
Oh, yeah, cool.
Which has got all the site material. But you look at it and compare that, which I always like to say you could shave with.
It's so knife-like on the ventral side.
It is so narrow. I mean, look at
You really
that
think
edge.
it's like that?
Oh yeah, I mean this edge comes right up. Oh yeah.
Because that's one of the ideas where like I don't see dinosaurs like Deinonychus or Velociraptors slashing with those toe claws because
they couldn't. It's basically. I always tell people, and look, it's my raptor's bigger than Spielberg's raptor. Remember that. It almost became Spielberg Eye, except they sued the Peabody Museum and a number of other museums. They were using Jurassic as a part of the title of exhibits.
Yeah.
And lawyers got to do that because why didn't you just, sue all these guys if someone was really ripping them off?
Yeah.
So, intellectual property lawyers are pretty ruthless. They sued they sued all these little tiny museums that, that don't charge to go in.
Yeah.
Doing little Jurassic sideline exhibits and things. But anyway, I had a gun to my head. I had to rename it. Yeah, it was in proof to be named Spielberg Eye.
Shoot.
And it was like, so you want your job, you got to change the name.
Utahraptor Spielberg Eye. Yeah. Well, I guess you've got an opportunity to do that now with the new Utahraptor species.
A new one, yeah. Because we do have what's probably a new species of Utahraptor from younger rocks from the poison strip level, which is that big sandstone rim around us. And it's from a site called the Lori site. And if you look at this, there's some differences. It's a thicker thing, but it's not as crushed, but it's still narrow. At the edges, clearly be a sharp edge on that. It's a little bit smaller, but heck, the other side is a little bit smaller than this one. So there's certain asymmetry.
Sure.
But you look at this, but it's like 10 million years later.
Yeah.
So this is all we got. We can't, I named Utahraptor initially on the claw. We got other bones that we added into it.
Sure.
But this, we can't name this.
Right.
Because it's like, as far as we can tell by diagnosis, this would be Utahraptor 2.
Sure.
And 10 million years, the
It's gonna be
chances
very
it's
different,
still Utahraptor is nil.
Yeah.
And we're starting to think more and more of this. We may have a subfamily of dromaeosaurs like we have velociraptorines and dromaeosaurines and have Utahraptorines as a lower Jurassic group. And there's suggestions that actually the pelvis of Utahraptor might be like Achillibatar in the late Cretaceous of Mongolia, which is the next biggest known dromaeosaur, and it may be a late occurring Asian Utahraptorid.
Which would be super cool.
And we've got the fossils in the mega block.
Yeah.
We have pelvic bones, and we just got to prep them.
So last summer you were telling me that you thought maybe Achillibator was maybe a Tyrannosaur?
Yeah, because
what changed?
Yeah, well, basically, and it's if you'd come to MTE and looked at the poster or my talks, and they're online. Look at Kirkland, Feathering Utahraptor. I've got an hour and a half talk where I point all this stuff out.
Yeah.
But the ischium, the pelvic bone in the hind part of the pelvis, flares out, and it's got the obturator process, which we don't have a pelvis here, but the thing a little sticks out usually right by the pelvis, all the way down almost the end.
Yeah.
And that's how it is in Archaeopteryx, Velociraptor, Troodonids, it's like all Maniraptorans.
Yeah.
And the pelvis style, this ischium that we have that may be Utahraptor, certainly in Achillibatar, looks much more like what we see in Tyrannosaurs, in being a primitive character.
Right.
These animals before we have Maniraptorans. And if you look at some characters of this animal, the tail is not as stiffened. It's more like Archaeopteryx's tail.
Sure.
This style of animal may be closer to what gave rise to birds. And the Velociraptorines and Microraptorines, which also have a very stiffened tail, are actually a later specialized side branch, where this thing is, its large spotty size is what makes it unique, in terms of its niche within the ecosystem. But its ancestor is actually, it's closer to bird origins than Velociraptorines or Deinonychus.
Sure, yeah.
But more to do. If I lived another 100 years, maybe I could be a part of it, but unfortunately I doubt that's going to happen. So maybe one of you watching will get involved and be able to figure out this story But these stories are figure-outable.
Yeah.
You know,
the
it's
answers
like
are out there.
Yeah, it's not like these things are. Those are impossible questions that man will never, be able to figure out. New discoveries.
Oh, yeah.
And focusing on new areas will give us search images that'll result in discoveries that'll help hone in on the story.
Yeah.
And that's just really exciting.
Awesome. Cool.
But, a little spiel. Does any of your people have any questions?
Yeah, let's see. I think there were some.
Probably, what the heck was he talking about? Dang.
Let's see.
Just blathering on.
Yeah, if we've got any questions right now, everybody make sure to chime in the next minute or so.
We got to shut down soon.
Because we do got to wrap this up. Yeah. We've got laundry to do tonight.
I don't. I just got here.
Oh, we got a big raid. That's awesome. We got a bunch of new people who just came in.
They missed all the good stuff.
That was, it was about 7 minutes ago. So they caught a lot of that, yeah. But yeah. Let's see.
Old man butt. There's no meat on it. All the meat's up here.
Oh, we got a good question. How many individual Utah raptor specimens have been found?
There's 4 sites where significant skeletal remains have been found. There's 8 animals minimum so far at Dalton Wells, Utah Raptor State Park.
Sure.
There's probably around a dozen in the Utah Raptor block. Now we know we have another animal, where I would say dozens. Just to be a good scientist and somewhat conservative in my discussion. There's at least done. There's small ones too.
Sure.
We got a growth series.
Uh-huh.
But the Blaine Quarry, which is BY, is the only quarry that's not on state land, Utah Raptor. There's probably 4, I think, is what they figure from Blaine Quarry. It's a really nice material too. It's not, a full skeleton, but the preservation is really good.
Sure.
And the type locality, Gaston Quarry, 1 animal.
1 animal.
1 animal, which makes defining the type material a lot easier.
Sure. Yeah. It's all from
same individual. Yeah.
Brandington wants to know, what could we share with us about the poison strip locality? We'll do, when it gets cooler, we'll actually go out and look at that.
Yeah.
And Jim will be able to walk you through
it's a younger site. It's got an animal Ken Carpenter named, and he dug it for many years as Gastonia lori McWhinney. The original Gastonia is Gastonia burgii. I really don't agree that it's still as a Gastonia.
Should be a different genus.
But it's a polycanthine, it's related, and it's even spinier than Gastonia. I mean, the spines on the tail are over a foot long. They're shorter front to back, where Gastonia has these big triangles. This thing has these long, and it's ridiculous. And it's got a spine in the base of the neck that's called informally a splate. Which they have in Polycanthus in Europe.
It's like a spine plate.
Yeah, and the only one in North America that has a splate that we know of is Hoplitosaurus from the Lakota Formation in the Black Hills. That I think might be correlative to these rocks. But we got a lot to learn about that site. But that ankylosaur, they got 12 cabinets full of it, and there's probably dozens of cabinets to be filled. It's a lot of skeletons of ankylosaur.
Awesome.
Why are they all together? No clue.
And that's where we might be digging in late August.
Yeah, another few weeks.
Yeah, I might be coming back out for that. Yeah.
At Denver Museum. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time there studying the specimen.
Yeah.
Have thousands of pictures, literally thousands of pictures of that stuff, because it's really neat.
Somebody says, Jim is exactly the person I wanted to be when I was a kid, and still want to be fair. Really enjoyed listening to him. Fascinating stuff. Yeah.
No, it's fun. I'm having as much fun as I thought I'd have when I was 5.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll be doing more.
Every bone, including these new ones that I just uncovered in the last hour.
Yeah.
It was as exciting as the first one I found 50 years ago.
Which was the first bone that you found? That was another question.
It was part of probably a Critosaurus in the San Juan Basin.
Oh, nice.
It's at the Denver Museum, not Denver Museum,
Big
New
dinosaur.
Mexico Museum.
Yeah.
Natural history now, but
nice.
Remember uncovering it and having Dave Thomas, the paleo artist, and best friend of my predecessor, Jim Madsen, showing me how to do a plaster jacket for the first time. But that was over 50 years ago.
Wow.
50 years on the Colorado
April.
Plateau.
Yeah.
Yep, in April, spring break. I remember I went there and definitely found stuff really quickly in the San Juan Basin.
Digging dinosaurs for 50 years. That's
on the plateau.
That's quite the career.
I mean, I've worked in Mexico and China and Mongolia.
Yeah.
Spain. But yeah, the plateau. I'm a plateau paleontologist.
Yeah.
and proud of it.
I think we'll wrap it up there for now. Thank you again, Jim.
Oh,
We're going to be doing more live streams like this over the next, until about mid-August, I guess, like the 10th or so, something like that. So Jim will be popping in and out, and I'll be doing live streams almost every day. That's the hope. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let me go bring the camera over there, and we'll wrap this up, and he's calling me.
Sadly, I have to dive onto a couple other projects, too.
But,
that's my responsibilities.
And what time will I be back tomorrow? Around 2 p.m. California time. Yeah. All right. We'll bring this over there, and we'll try and see if anybody else is doing any science on Twitch, and we can do a raid into them. But everybody in chat, say goodbye to the crew for now.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Gotta kiss my boat. Goodbye.
He's got one.
They weren't leaving me by myself. I would stay out here. I get lonely. There's no point.
All right. Let's go over here, and let's get ready to wrap this up. But don't go away just yet, everybody. We're going to do a raid, and try and show some love to somebody doing some science on Twitch like we've been doing. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Who else is live on Twitch right now? Go to watch. Let's see. Oh, Carl Sagan 42 is on right now. We might go right into them. Yeah. Let's go do that. Carl Sagan 42 is playing some Minecraft. So let's get that going. Raid. Carl Sagan 42. Excellent. Yeah. Oh wait, shoot. Hang on a minute. Unraid, because we just got a raid. How do I do stop raid? Unrecognized command. What is the raid? What's the raid has been canceled. Okay, thank you, Claire. Shoot. Well, what did we get? Ellen Vi, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Raiding in with how many people? I'm trying to figure this out, and then it keeps moving. I'm sorry, everybody. May one-man show here. 191 viewers. Holy cow. Ellen Vi, welcome to Paleontologizing. We'll postpone the raid for just a minute here. But, it's great to have you. We were just streaming for about close to 3 hours out in the eastern Utah desert, kind of near the town of Moab, Utah, if you know where that is, near Arches National Park. Digging in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation rocks. We've got at least one, maybe two, maybe more new species of dinosaur coming out of this hole that we've been working in. And, yeah. Just got done having a cool conversation with Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland about Utahraptor, one of the dinosaurs that he named back in the early 1990s. So, yeah. If it's your first time here, like it is for many of you, welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I work on dinosaurs. I dig them up during the summer. And super excited to be able to share this with you, you know? Normally I stream 5 days a week from my office back home in the San Francisco Bay Area, but again, it's summertime and I'm out doing fieldwork. Here's our mobile setup here with the satellite dish and the router and the solar battery and the solar panels. And yeah. If it were not for the generous support of this community, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing. So thank you, everybody, for helping make this a reality. Yeah. But yeah. Awesome setup. Thank you, Ellen, and thank you again for the raid. If you haven't already, tell us how your stream went. And everybody, go take a look at Ellen's channel if that sounds interesting to you. Yeah, summertime when the weather is fine. It's like 103 degrees right now or something like that. So I got to wrap this up. let's do... Yeah. And very funny, Zachary Finesse. Tune in tomorrow. We'll actually show you some of the bones in the ground. I know you missed it today. But, yeah. Yeah. Where else on the internet can you watch dinosaur fossils be excavated live by a crew of paleontologists? You know? Anywho. Yeah. Let's, let's see...
Now, I know enough not to let myself get to that.
There we go. My channel, chat,
Heat stroke or some strong heat exhaustion. I've been there.
raid, Carl Sagan, 4-2. There we go. Excellent. Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, Carl Sagan, I think, might be trained as a scientist, but now does video games on Twitch, doing some Minecraft right now. Should be a good raid target for us. And I think he's pretty cool, so we'll check him out. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for your viewership, for your enthusiasm, for your questions, and for your financial support. Couldn't do this without that, so thank you very, very much. Hope you learned something today. I hope you're inspired to go outside and have flies buzz around your nose. And just enjoy this great, big, beautiful world around us, you know? No, you're not supposed to say it on Twitch, but maybe consider going outside every once in a while, leaving those screens behind and just drinking in the wonder and beauty of our beautiful planet, you know? Yeah. With that said, let's go ahead and... Well, how do I get rid of that? Gosh darn it. Tap to raid now. Let's go ahead and raid into Carl Sagan 4-2. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.